Goliath online.
Even when you lost, there's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Hello, Starcraft fans. We are back with another day of the BSL. We're in the first round of the round of 16, and we've got Group A here, and it's a star-studded lineup. We've got JDConan, we've got Gypsy, which is going to be our first matchup, but then we've got the king of BSL right now, Mihu, facing off versus Crossy, and of course joining me is Machine. What's up, dude?
Not much, man. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. What a beast of a lineup here we have for today. Mihu, previous winner. We got 2 Zergs, so you know I'm happy. We got 2 Terrans, so we know Nyoken's happy. And of course, we got the big Gypsy holding down the fort here for NA. So yeah, man, I'm super excited for this one. We're obviously going to have some incredible matches today, and can't wait to get this one started.
I also can't wait to get the game started, not just because we have the big Gyp and Mihu here, who are the best of the best in Terrans, but we've got Crossy, who, even though he ended up losing, I think, to Mihu last season, he had an incredible game versus him on Polypoid. In fact, if you rewatch the VOD, I even call it that Crossy's going to win that game, but Mihu came back, he withheld the onslaught of Zerg and ended up managing to take that game. So I'm really happy to see Mihu versus Crossy. I think that's going to be a really good series, even though I think Mihu is extremely favored just because of how dominant he's been in BSL. But I think Crossy can pull off the upset. And then also on the bottom side, JDConan. Man, he beat Terror last time we saw him. So if he can beat Terror, actually I think there's a good chance he could actually beat Gypsy here.
Yeah, man, that I gotta say that was a big shocker to me. Terror definitely, one of the monster foreign Terrans that's just incredible in Terran versus Zerg. Very variable in his build order openers. So he's obviously a big threat. So for JDConan to come out on top there, with 2 Terrans even in his previous group, he's at least very practiced for this group going into it. And clearly going to be a big threat here. But yeah, Mihu, man, you can't count him out. Obviously, he's going to be the big guy to take down in this group. But if he has shown weakness in the past, it's really been, this matchup, Terran versus Zerg, dropping games to Zeke, even last season. So, maybe Cross or JDConan can get it done here. And of course, we can't count out the big Gyp. Big Gyp is just very good, very solid. All matchups, clearly been putting in tons of time to get ready for this BSL season, and I'm excited to see how this goes for him as well.
I'm also excited for this because if we do end up getting Mihu versus Gypsy, as you mentioned, Zeke did beat Mihu a couple seasons ago, but the first time we actually saw Mihu make an appearance in the BSL, he faced off versus Gypsy, and Gypsy, I think, is the only one that has beaten Mihu in a series other than the Chinese qualifier where we had Dugu take down Mihu. And, we haven't seen Dugu again since then, so I don't even know if that was a fluke or what that was, but Gypsy, very, very good these days. We're getting a look at the stats here. We can see that JDConan, season 12 through 14, he was a Gosu leader, yet here he is season 16 and 17. He's into the round of 24. He's made it into Pro League. Meanwhile, Gypsy, he started off kind of slow, but then exploded in season 13. He's got 3rd place, and he got round of 8 in season 14, and then he's like, you know what, I'm out of here for a couple seasons, took some time off. Now here he is again, already doing very well in BSL18, and I just want to see the games, man. Our first map is Radon, a huge macro map. I want to see big time macro because I know I have played JDConan. He is actually kind of similar to Crossy in the sense that he plays kind of normal. He will backstab you with lings, but generally they're not like backstab into all in. So I think that if Gypsy's been playing with Crossy, I feel like he's going to be very comfortable playing versus JDConan, and hopefully we can get a big macro game here on Radon.
Yeah, I'm honestly hoping the same. I think it kind of favors both their styles. You know, I would say JDConan tends to be a little more passive even than Crossy, right? Like he's definitely not afraid and actually aims to get to that late game hive tech, you know, Zerg compositions. We see it in all of his matchups actually. So definitely the potential here for a big macro game on a big macro map. You know, so yeah, you know, I wouldn't even necessarily say it would favor JDConan though. Gypsy, you know, obviously a player who isn't foreign to big late game Terran versus Zerg. The trait that I call out from Gypsy more so than any other foreign Terran is you can really feel his vessel control as a Zerg. He does a great job being constant with the vessel pressure, irradiating defilers, irradiating lurkers, irradiating ultralists, and never really allows the ball of vessels to get within range of a big plague. Like he's very diligent about sending forth single vessels at a time. It's just something I've kind of noticed and struggled with anytime we ever meet. So I'm kind of excited to see that on display should they get to a late game scenario here.
Kind of like JYJ in that sense. Every time I watch a game of JYJ versus Terran versus Zerg, even if he loses vessels, I'm like, wow, he lost all of his vessels, and I look back and he's got like 8 more. I'm like, where did they come from? How do you have so many? If this was me, I'd have maybe 1 left over after losing them all. But I agree, the vessel control is really good. Gypsy very good with his bio play, and I do want to point out that we did get a big tip. Thank you, man, for the huge donation. And of course, if you guys want to support the BSL, consider becoming a Patreon supporter or making a direct donation. But with this screen visible, that means our players are ready. So let's get into the game number 1 between Gypsy and JDConan. Okay, in the... Whoa, we're way already into the game.
Yeah, looks like bottom left here as the Terran, obviously from China. We have Mihu. And
no, the graphics.
Oh, never mind.
This is Gypsy
bad.
versus JDConan.
Yeah, Gypsy, of course. Yeah, my bad.
We've got Gypsy at bottom left and JDConan at top right, and this is an 8 racks, by the way. By the way, we have an external observer right here. It's our first time setting it up through VLC, so maybe a couple of missteps going on, which is why we just teleported 1 minute into the game. But already we're seeing an aggressive play from Gypsy. You know, this is something that he's been doing quite often. It kind of forces Zerg to manage their minerals, you know, manage their gas. If they go gas extremely fast, their build is kind of screwed, just to put it lightly. And then if they don't, well, then they end up going 3-hatch. And Machine, I can tell you without a doubt, Terran wants to face 3-hatch. They do not want to play the 2-minute pool, 2-minute gas build.
I completely agree. I'm always you know, kind of scratching my head anytime I see these top Zergs opening 3-hatch still. But I gotta say, of all of the Zergs remaining in, you know, the BSL18 so far, JDConan is one of those Zergs that will open 3-hatch. He does it very consistently. We've seen it from him, you know, very much so from previous BSL seasons. Okay, this is big. He's getting a read that there are Marines moving across the map here. Of course, we know Gypsy is looking to get a little aggressive here, and we're seeing drones be pulled. So Conan is reacting here.
And this is exactly what you want to do as Zerg. Like I said, you do not want to be mining the gas, because if you mine the gas, you have no mineral income. Like, your build is just completely down the drain. So canceling the gas, pulling off drones. He's got 7 right now. Now, I see different Zergs respond differently here with in terms of the drone count. He's pulled 7. I think this is the right amount. He's got good amount managing his money. But Gypsy got what he wanted already, which is it's going to be a 3-hatch follow-up. He's not dealing with the bunker, though. He lost the drone. There are lings, and I'm not sure if they're going to be in time. That bunker's already done.
It's going to be so close. It's not in time. But the Zerglings can counter with the drones. I'd almost like to see that more. But nope. 2 Zerglings go down. Another drone goes down there. And JDConan now in this awkward spot. At least the bunker isn't within range.
What's he doing?
Yeah.
He's
going to counter. Yeah, he's
Oh.
just going to counter, man. He's just saying, oh, you only got 1 barracks? Well, maybe if I just prevent you from ever making any more Marines and kill the depot.
I could see
But it
this
is a
working.
wall.
I could see this working if he had something to drill on, but he doesn't have anything to drill on. Gypsy's probably. I gotta tell you this. I got my eyes set on Gypsy's camera right now because I was 100% sure he was gonna start laughing because this is like. Remember, he pulled 7 drones. He already lost like 2 or 3 of them. Now they're across. Yeah, JDConan. He can't believe it. He's like, this is a disaster.
Yeah, this is a rough spot to be in, especially for a bunker that's not in range of the hatchery. It wasn't a huge committal here from Gypsy, and it seemed like it was the right call. Oh no, 2 drones fall as well, so, I mean, that couldn't have gone worse.
Yeah, and this is literally unwinnable for JDConan. I think all he can really do is pray for a miracle at this point. What that miracle could be, maybe like hold position lurkers in the middle of the map and then go for an immediate counter. But other than that, this is not something you recover from. You can't go mutas here. It would be way too late. I feel like you've just got to go for the Hail Mary. I realize lurkers are also going to be late, but maybe, at least without vision, maybe you can pray for the Marines to be out of position and you get like a killer lurker shot kills the whole army, because I don't know what else you can do from this. Look at JDConan, he's still shaking his head. It's a minute later. We got to zoom in on his face. He hates it.
I feel it, man. You know how many times I've been here? It's just a rough spot to be as Zerg, and especially when it's so early on. Not much has happened, right? It was just a failed bunker, or not even a successful bunker timing. It's near unrecoverable, but he's got, this is for his lifeline, man. For BSL, he's got to make it happen somehow. I'd like to see some kind of a macro cheese, pots. Maybe just throw a hatchery at a random base, hope it doesn't get scouted, defend, make 3 sunkens at your natural. Maybe there's some kind of play, right, that you can kind of make, happen from there. It looks like Gypsy gonna start poking outwards here, testing, seeing the Zergling count. Spire is down in the main of JDConan here, but yeah, here comes Big Gyp, man.
There's the hidden hats that you're talking about. It will most likely go unscouted. There are a lot of lanes, so Gypsy does need to respect the counterattack, but double fire bat saying, get the hell out of here, man. You're not allowed here. This is my territory. Marine medic moving across the map. There's going to be 3 sunkens. I mean...
He'll hold. As long as he morphs him.
Yeah, he'll hold, and Gypsy, he knows that he did a lot of drone damage, so he may be thinking that actually this is all JDConan has. So maybe there's a world where mid-left gets up and running?
I think it's as good a bet as any, given the situation here, so good call from JDConan.
In response, this is going to be 4 racks. This is pretty much the go-to follow-up. It's either a 3 or 4 racks. You rarely see 5 racks after an 8 racks. Instead, you manage going into your tech a little bit faster. Lynx tried to do some damage. Looks like they got.
I think they got a fire bit there. Yeah, that's not easy to do. Give it a wall and all that. Well done.
Yeah, but these wings, I mean, he still has 6, so like they're not negligible. They do support in the fight. I wonder what Gypsy's thinking. Does he just think that, man, I'm so far ahead that there can't possibly be another hatchery on the map? Okay, this is a good trade. He gets, what was that, 4 Marines? That was definitely worth at this point.
Yeah, somehow. I can't believe he just did that, but still, it's going to be a long road ahead of him here. We are seeing quite a few turrets go down for Gypsy. Well, I mean, well-timed. This is already easily going to be able to hold these initial 5 mutas. Gypsy will eventually need to scout. The base has an SCV out on the map, top left, knows that top left main and natural at least haven't been taken so far, but he's got to be assuming something is going on, right? There's no way that JDConan's going to be able to kind of come back from this if he's just on 2 bases. Okay.
He's going to find mid left. I actually thought he was going to scout top left corner and then go to the top middle, but he does find it now, and now he knows that, okay, this guy, yes, he definitely lost a lot of econ, but he's actually recovered. He's got his third base up and running, so I need to take care of that. You do not want to let a game like this slip away, I can tell you that. And actually, he did just show some mutas, and he's actually rushing lurkers. I think this is a smart move, because like I said, the mutas can never contest the Marines. They're just way too slow. But if he can get lurkers on hold position by somehow at mid left, maybe Gypsy doesn't scan, and maybe this whole army dies.
Gypsy being so patient with this initial group of bio, and it's just too close. Even though there are 8 mutas, they're rather bruised. Gypsy has great positioning here. He should be able to shut this third base down momentarily.
And actually, Gypsy's factory is really, really late, but it's also off of an 8 rack, and I think he realized the position he was in, so built a ton of turrets to make sure he doesn't die to a counter. So in the end, his build is still good. There's the Hydras that I was talking about. They're a little too late to save mid left, but
groups of bio and make something happen from there. But yeah, he also might just be going for a big timing.
He does have a third hatch. He does have the ability to build a lot of Zerglings, and so far, okay, that drone is actually setting up like it's going to build like a queen's nest or something. I guess JDConan is not all-ending this. Instead, he's going to try and take a hatch at mid-right. He's got a lot of blue all over the map. There should be a decent amount of lurkers here. Terran, I don't think, has spotted that there are lurkers in the center, so the dream scenario of lurkers catching this Marine ball is still alive.
He has to assume. We see him backed completely off with that initial group of bio that killed JDConan's third. He knows that a timing is inevitable at this point. Scans the main. Yep, no hive. If it's not hive, what is it going to be? Wow, even gets the tail end of that queen's nest there. That was a nice scan.
Yeah, the mutas are sharking around trying to bait the Marines. Oh no. He just got baited into 1 billion turrets. Oh, lurkers at the front.
There we go. Lurkers moving in. Does get scanned. GG is called there from JDConan, and yeah, Big Gyp takes a very quick 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do from that point? You lost, 2 drones in the beginning. You pulled your those 7 drones across. Then you lost 2 more on the way back. It literally couldn't have gone worse, other than you just fight the bunker completely and lose everything. I mean, it was literally just completely unplayable at that point, and Gypsy just takes an easy game 1.
Yeah, you were talking about drone pull, early on, and I've noticed at the high level, when you watch someone like Hero defend an 8 racks, they're pulling like 9, 10 drones. They just overwhelm it. It's not even a question, So I feel like the half, pulls, or even like 7 drones fighting against Marines, it can get iffy there.
No!
It'll come back in a few seconds.
Oh,
there we go.
We're back.
We're back. I think so. Right on. Well, so yeah, Gypsy, of course, taking that 1-0 lead to kind of kick things off. Here, though, will be JDConan's map choice. Just knowing how JDConan plays, I don't think he's going to be too dissuaded from picking another large 4-player map, even given how Radon fleshed out Game 1. I'd like to see him on a map like Vermeer. honestly, or Citadel. I think, you know, he could still do great given these big 4-player maps, get to a third base scenario. You know, don't allow something like an 8 racks to happen again. Not that I even think Gypsy would 8 racks really 2 games in a row. I think he's kind of throwing it out there as like a test or a feeler, but like it's not his main. It wouldn't be like his main opener, I'd say.
So I agree with the map picks. I think you want to stay to a big map. I think actually if JDConan, for whatever reason, picks Dark Origin, I think it's actually very likely we could get back-to-back 8 Raxes. So I think definitely want to stay on a 4-player map. Maybe also, or maybe Apocalypse is a good map also, because some positions are not the greatest for walls in my opinion, but bottom left is really good. But definitely do not want to go into Dark Origin, because I do know Gypsy has been practicing 8 racks a lot, and based on how game 1 went, I mean, hell, I would say like, oh, this is how it's gonna go when I 8 racks? Well, let's just do it again until you show me that it can't work.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad idea either, right? Like, I always rave about Terror's TVZ for the same reason. I think the guy just has an incredible 8 racks, and he could just kind of, he's very consistent with it, and can, you know, not necessarily end the game with the early 8 racks, but plays himself into, you know, a lead very regularly off the build. So maybe Gypsy might just know he's got him mentally on the ropes, and, you know, an 8 racks twice in a row could be good. But yeah, with this, folks, we know map 2 going to be Citadel, so it is that large 4-player map pick from JDConan that we assumed. And yeah, with that, both our players are ready, so let's go ahead and jump into Game 2, JDConan versus Gypsy.
Okay, in the top right, we do have Gypsy.
And in the top left, we have JDConan spawning as the Gray Zerg. It took me a second. I was like, man, I haven't seen Gray in a while. But yeah, it's the Gray Zerg.
Look at JDConan talking to himself already, shaking his head. Yes, he's saying to himself, oh, you're going to get slapped this game.
Yep.
Gypsy, try that 8 racks again. But like I said, with it being Citadel, this is not a map that has good walls in general. So this was a good map pick from Conan, because now you eliminate, well, you eliminate a high percentage of the 8 racks this here. So already Conan should be feeling good that this is not a back-to-back 8 racks.
I mean, even just given the positionings here, JDConan going to get away with that first Overlord scout over the cliff. That's always a nice bonus for Zerg. You know, means as long as he recognizes it early enough, he's gonna even retain some of that potential mining on the scouting drone. Also, given that it's top side of the map, Gypsy's Marines are going to spawn at the bottom of the barracks. So should JDConan get a little aggressive with a bunch of lings early on, it could be threatening. But yeah, we're just seeing standard 12 hatch so far, nothing out of the usual.
And this Overlord, will it get intercepted by the SCV?
Ooh, it's gonna be close.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he might have saw it.
Yeah, I think he saw it. So now he knows that JDConan's top left, both players gonna get off. First scout, JDConan. Okay, I was looking at his money. I was like, whoa, are we going 3 hatch? But no, not gonna be the case. It's gonna be the 2-minute pool, 2-minute cast.
Dang, he didn't place his pool to boost that top mineral. Yeah, well.
And boosting is a massive deal in all the matchups now. You can really boost your build really fast, and like even just a few seconds can be a difference maker. Like if, let's say you 9 pool, right? Karen usually has like 2 Marines by the time you get across the base. But if you somehow can get your racks like 5 seconds faster, you know, that means your 3rd Marine is out that much quicker. Or, you know, if you're 9 pulling into an 8 racks, you know, you've got your lings in position much quicker. And we've actually got a bunker push. Now, some players do this. I'm not too convinced that this actually does a lot of damage, because the Overlord spot's not an 8 rack, so he doesn't have to commit very much, but he does pull a lot of drones already. It's 4 drones.
I think normally this doesn't do much, but what this does for the mental, right, given the previous 8 racks game, I think this is exactly what Gypsy should be doing here. And yeah, like you said, JDConan had to take it seriously. 4 drones being pulled. Look at the saturation in the main. It's already messed up. No Zerg likes that. No Zerg likes to just not have perfect saturation in the main and have to, like, you know, it just throws your game off at the start. So I think Gypsy's already playing phenomenally.
Yeah, I'm looking at the supply for JDConan. Hopefully one of those larvas that he just used was for an Overlord, because 18 out of 18, that's ugly. We don't want to see numbers like that. There we go. It looks like Overlord does now just complete. So he wasn't supply blocked for very long, but in response, Gypsy has gone for a 2 racks. It's going to be a 4-minute Academy pop. He's moving across the map with 5 Marines. Now, a lot of pros actually make this move. I can see this working sometimes, but my issue with this particular move is, dude, the Overlord sees you coming from a mile away. Like, he's right there.
It forces... Gypsy's only moving halfway across the map, right? Like, what Gypsy's doing right now is preventing drones. And you prevent drones by forcing lings, right? So I think that was great. Of course, we're seeing, the Zergling count spike here already early on. So it did at least force a reaction out of Gypsy, or out of JDConan, rather. So not a bad call. SCV already sees the drone.
Yeah, why is there an SCV there? I don't even know how it got there.
Oh man, he's gonna know there's a 3rd base potential on the map, and he also knows it's got to be bottom left now. So, man, Gypsy's just all over it this game.
This is a disaster for JDConan. He's gonna have to build so many lanes to just fend off this attack. Also, with the drone being sent out real quick, now you know that there's no in-base 3rd hatch. It's always going to be on the at another base now. So this is really, really rough for JDConan. His fire's almost done, but he's supply blocked right now. Okay, there we go.
He had to make the 2 Sunkens because Gypsy's... Ling run by, actually, going on into the main here. This is annoying. Yep. Oh, he might catch a medic as well. That's huge. No way. Suddenly, yeah.
This is what I was talking about, Crossy also likes to make this move, backstab you ever out of position, and there's no stim done just yet, so the Lings actually get a couple units, a couple SCVs also, and now, well, actually I was going to say now this bottom left base, well, it might actually complete before the Marines get out on the map, but he hasn't even started the 3rd hatch.
He hasn't had the eco. The 2 Sunkens were forced so early that, I mean, look, there's not many drones at the natural. Also, that 3rd drone was probably pulled preemptively to make that 3rd base, so it's also not mining. Yeah, there's three drones at the natural mineral line.
Oh, Marines. Okay, they do have stim, but definitely do not have range.
Oh, nice shot. I think Gypsy just needs to sit back, right? He's just got to survive. If these mutas don't do much damage, he's in such a strong spot.
Yeah, all he has to do is sit here, especially since he knows that the worker count is really low at the natural. He doesn't know about bottom left just now starting. If he knew if bottom left just now started, I mean, he could sit here for several minutes knowing that he's just in a good position. But JDConan needs to get something done with these mutas, whether it's killing the Marine Ball, killing some SC. He's got to do something to get him back into this game.
He's picking off a couple, Marines here and there. We're seeing the supplies aren't really that bad, actually, for JDConan, all things considered. 42 to 52, about 10 supply off. Okay, looks like he's also opened up a hole here in Gypsy's natural mineral line. There's no turrets there now. I'd like to just...
that JDConan is not able to get back into the natural once again. In Gypsy's main, I think his factory's being close to done. That means starports are going to be on the way pretty soon. There's the first one, and it is going to be double starport, actually.
Very nice. We do only have 2 SCVs on the main gas. I want to point that out. I've noticed Gypsy's gas mining's been a little light so far. It's kind of delaying some things.
And if this nat gas gets denied, this is definitely the way for JDConan to come back, because Gypsy's going to build his vessels and be like, dude, I can't afford a radiant. And he's going to be like, what the hell's going on here? He's also not mining his natural gas. Actually yesterday I played a ladder game, And a Zerg did the same thing. Like, he's just like, yeah, that's nice. You've got SCVs, but I don't care. I just want the refinery. He just killed my refinery over and over and over. And if you can limit the vessel count that way, that can also be a win condition. Now, like I said, that natural's exposed. And again, the Marines are not that far out on the map, so it's not like they can instantly kill a base.
Another turret goes down as well. Gypsy wisely not pressuring too far across the map. Still, though, it is just 2 Sunkens. And these bases are so close. JDConan has to be aware that that's always a possibility. Another turret goes down.
Gypsy taking a lot of damage to these mutas. Supplies are almost even at this point. By the way, this is not vessels. It's going to be Valkyrie. I guess he scanned and saw the natural doesn't have any more drones, and he's like, okay, well, I'll just build Valkyries, and the Valkyries will shred mass mutas, unless the mutas got +1 armor. If they did get +1 armor, and now you can see Gypsy realize that he's not been mining gas, so he puts 2 more on gas.
Just for good measure there.
Yeah.
Nice pickups from JDConan. I gotta say, man, he's still in this. He's still making this a game.
What JDConan needs now is he sees the factory lifted. Valkyrie's definitely a common follow-up these days. So if he builds 4 Scourge and he can pick off the first 2 Valkyries, oh, we're so back. We are so back. But if he can't kill the Valkyries, he's in massive trouble, because I think he went weapon.
My.
Yeah, and look at the Valkyries just shred these.
Oh, get out of here.
That's...
Shoot.
Whoa, that's GG.
Yeah, that's a good game. That's Valkyries, man. Valkyries, TVZ.
Yeah, rough way to lose that second game. I think JDConan was playing pretty well for having such a low drone count. He almost recovered. He got a lot of damage done in the natural. Actually kept the Marine count back the majority of the game. But those Valkyries, like I said, you gotta avoid them unless you've got armor. If you've got armor, it's a different story. Then you can just face tank them and be like, yeah, what? Come at me. But JDConan, I mean, it just wasn't his series this time. He'll be moving into the losers match. He'll need to get it together for whoever comes out of the top side, because it doesn't get any easier, right? It doesn't get any worse, but it doesn't get any easier, because Crossy versus Mihu is going to be equally as difficult.
Yeah, despite who makes it out of that, it's, and who falls to the loser bracket, either one of those players is just really in top form. Mihu needs no introduction. I mean, such an incredible Chinese Terran at the top of it all right now. The man to beat. And Cross, I mean, just such a formidable North American Zerg. He really brings a lot to the table, and all matchups, especially in this Zerg versus Terran. I'm very excited to see what he chooses to open against a player like Mihu.
Yeah, I don't know what you do versus Mihu, man. Like, it feels like he should be vulnerable to early game. Like, Xiao Shuai is someone that's very good with early game, like his all-ins. But when I watch Mihu versus Xiao Shuai, Mihu slams that. And then we all know his macro in the late game, even when he's at a deficit, he ends up recovering. And a lot of Terran players, they struggle versus the 4-base Zerg, which Crossy can definitely do. He can go into 4-base, 5-base. I don't know where you're actually supposed to beat Mihu. That's the thing, is a lot of players have a vulnerability. I can give myself an example. I'm not good late game versus Zerg. That's just a fact. But there's no vulnerability versus Mihu. And on top of it, he doesn't even play mech. He doesn't even play the style where he's got mass tanks, camping all of his bases. He's just saying, oh, you want to play a big macro game with Lings, Defilers, Lurkers, Ultras? Okay, well, here's 20 barracks. Deal with my Marine Medic and Vessels.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like that's his only style either. Mihu definitely a Terran who likes to open the 8 racks into 1-1-1 as well, which can be quite difficult for Zerg compete with, and it's also a little unusual, but he's pulled it out several times in the past. So yeah, I'm there's a lot of threats here for both players.
Yeah, it is going to be a slugfest here. I'm ready to just get into game one, man. I want to see Mihu face off versus Crossy, see the rematch from Hollywood a couple seasons ago. Maybe Crossy has got something up his sleeve. Generally when I think of Crossy, I think of 2-hatch, Muta, 3rd-hatch on location somewhere. But maybe he's got something special planned, something that I haven't seen Crossy do in a long time. Crazy Zerg. I haven't seen him play Lurkers. Maybe that's a way that you can steal a win from Mihu.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually going to say, I think Crossy does really like, if he gets into an advantage mid-game, he will do these massive Lurker Ling Muta timings before even Defiler versus Terran, and I've seen it catch top players like Gypsy before. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that could be a threat that Mihu isn't anticipating, or obviously. So who knows?
Well, I thought we were going to be getting into the game, but it looks like not just yet. So we know that Radon is the first map, but let's assume you're the Zerg player here. Let's assume Crossy ends up losing the first game. What map are you picking in game 2? We've got a lot of standard maps like Citadel, but do you want to play a 2-player map versus Mihu, or do you want a big map versus him, do you think?
I would never want a 2-player map versus Mihu. I don't know, man. Like, there's 0% chance I'm picking Neo Dark Origin versus a player like Mihu. I don't want to count out Apocalypse. I think, even though it's obviously not a 4-player map, it's a 3-player map, and it's great for mid-game mutas. Like, if you seriously think you can just kind of out-control your opponent, take advantage of the neutral air over the naturals specifically on that map, it could be a nightmare for Terran to deal with. So I don't want to count that out, but also there's just no easier way to play than to just get to late game, take on a 4-player map, take a 3rd base that leads itself to holding a 4th base, and get to that good old juicy hive tech plague ultra. It's always fun. So I think either one of those can be good possibilities here. That being said, maybe Cross got something planned for something like Neo Dark Origin. He's gonna pull a Jimin and mine out the back and go Ling all in or something, right? Like
you never know how many times somebody has played versus that. The first time I faced it, or first time I ran into it, I just got completely owned. I was like, oh, I forgot about this. And then ever since then, I've been very diligent about scouting for it. So, it's definitely a possibility. We're getting a look at the stats for each player. As you can see, Crossy was generally like a round of 24 type player, but then breakout season or in season 17 made it into the round of 8. And Crossy has improved quite considerably over the past 2 years, so it's no shocker that he makes it into the round of 8 last season. But like I said, if Bonnet was the original king of BSL, well, Mihu, he has come to take the throne, because that is champion in season 13 and 14. BSL 15, he had, what's the word? He wanted to give a little bit of confidence to the rest of the foreign scene by just bowing out in the Asian qualifiers. Didn't actually make it into the main round of BSL, but then 16 and 17, he's like, you forget about me, I'm back.
What else can you say, man? He is an incredible player, the player to beat without a doubt in BSL at the moment.
Yeah, I think last season in the round of 8 and beyond, he was the only Terran in the tournament, and that's all we need, man. We just need Mihu to take the championship.
What if he didn't make it out of the group today? Could you imagine?
If he doesn't make it out of the group, I'm going to lose my mind. Not because the other players are bad, but because Mihu, he's nuts, man. So our players are ready. Let's get into game 1. It is going to be Radon between Crossy and Mihu.
And spawning top right as the blue Zerg, we have Crossy.
Okay, in the bottom right, we do have our Terran. It is Mihu. And as someone that did actually get to play Mihu in BSL, what was it, 2 seasons ago or a season ago or something like that? Mihu, I will tell you this about Mihu. When I played Terror, when I played Gypsy, macro great. When I played Mihu, I was like, wow, macro's great. The difference maker with Mihu is when he makes a move, he's already making another move somewhere else. So you can't just react to the first move. His speed is insane. Like I went to defend, I think it was Vermeer, top middle on Vermeer. I'm like, oh, I defended. Then next thing I know, my third base is under attack. I'm like, what the hell happened, dude? I was just setting up over here and now I'm already being attacked over here. That's what makes Mihu so dangerous, is he's literally all over the place with the multitask. You cannot just defend one location.
We got the Mihu cam too.
I know.
That's so cool, actually. Man. Yeah, speed, man. It's the name of the game. It's so tough to deal with the chaos in this game. You know, that's most of it. Is chaos management, it feels like. And you know, the unit that comes to mind when I think of Mihu, you have to say Vulture, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mihu's...
his Vulture pressure is just unbelievable. The control is incredible, right? He uses the speed so well to apply those attacks, gain the vision. I mean, I don't know, man. Like his Vulture control really seems next level.
I don't think we're going to see Vultures this game, as I don't remember him being like a Vulture type of player in Terran versus Zerg. But, you know, players like Light do sometimes go like Marine, Medic, Valkyrie, Vulture to get some map control with mine. So, you know, if he's been watching games from Light, I guess that could be a potential. But we do have the typical Zerg follow-up. It's going to be cool gas. And what Mihu has done here is beyond risky. This is not...
Only though out of cross, so it looks like it's the right call.
This is unreal. He still hasn't scouted, man. Like, if this was... I'm trying to think of a Zerg player in BSL. Like, if this is Xiao Shuai, he's dead, right? Like, the chance of this being an overpool or something, you're dead. But I guess...
This is Zeke, he's dead.
Yeah, Zeke even does it. I guess there's enough Zergs in the BSL scene that don't pool first that he just felt confident doing this. And when Crossy watches this replay, win or lose, he's gonna be angry seeing, or at least I would be angry seeing this. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you didn't even scout, and you're just 1 Marine, 0 Marines command center, 1 Marine into 2 racks. Look, he has 2 Marines at 345.
It's a read, man. You gotta respect it. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's the right call, which is all that matters.
It is all that matters. If you know how the opposing player is going to play, well, you're just supposed to abuse them as much as possible. And he's gotten a really good build. It is going to be Spire as a follow-up, of course, for Crossy. But unbeknownst to him, an Academy timing should be hitting pretty quickly. I mean, if you can streamline your build like this, I imagine the Academy should be done pretty soon. Oh, no, it's actually not. Okay, there it is. It's about to complete now.
So yeah, pretty quick Academy timing. Still though, you know, it's not like Crossy's skipped a beat here. We've got a few Zerglings for scouting on the map. Second gas just about to complete. Deciding to take the top left natural for a third. Taking a play out of Zeke's book, I feel like.
This is a dangerous move. If Terran knows where your third base is, they can just Marine Medic it before the mutas get out on the field and can just go kill it. But like I was saying, Crossy is someone that does backstab often, so he could use these links to buy time. And I'm not sure if Mihu knows how often Crossy really does like to make that move, but I think that is a bunker being built. I don't think that's an additional depot. So maybe he does, and this is going to be the move out from Mihu right now. Forces out 2 Sunkens. But like I said, okay, he scans the natural, he sees the Sunkens, and he just backs off. But he doesn't critically see if there's a hatch in the main, and there's the counterattack that I was talking about. Ling's inside. Can he get any SCV kills?
He's at least got to disrupt some of this mining. You know, Mihu did force 2 Sunkens to be made. No Zerg wants to make those Sunkens at this point in the game. So things still looking pretty decent here for Mihu, all things considered. But at least Crossy got a couple Lings in the main, does confirm what the build is, barracks count, SCV count. So, you know, not the worst position.
All right, well, Mihu is doing a build that I have attempted to do on the ladder several times, and it can be hit or miss. This is just 2 racks, so you do not have any map pressure at all. You, of course, can have fast tech, but if you lose your army, well, you ain't got a second army. Like, that's it. So he's got to be very careful with his army. You can never move out until you've gotten all your tech set up, and we'll see if Crossy can get damage here. He's got 1 SCV at the natural so far. It looks like he only has 6 mutas, so he doesn't have the critical number that one-shots the workers.
Ooh, this is a little risky here. Before he even has the one-shottable amount of mutas, he's just diving into this main, moving past the turrets. But he does find a nice pull here. Oh, does lose a muta, though. That's big.
I actually thought that muta running through the natural and then getting directly on top of the factory was kind of the move he needed, because with this type of play, you're really relying on your tech being quick. But if he could have canceled that SCV building the factory, Terran's whole strategy would have been down the drain. So far, Mihu has done a really good job to just hold on right now. Now, what's the follow-up going to be? When you play this fast of a tech, you don't really have that much gas. You may not be able to go double Vessel, but what you can do is you can go double Valkyrie like we saw Gypsy do, and then try and make a big Marine Medic Valkyrie counterplay onto the 3rd base or the natural.
I mean, it worked well for Gypsy. Might be the call here. Just get a couple, 2-4 Valks out and go from there. We do see a Hydra Den being produced at the 3rd base, so Crossy, not just doing some kind of, all-in muta type play. He's looking to transition already, and I think that's the right call here.
I really do like Crossy's build here. He saw that it's fast tech. He's going to get his Hydra Den and Lurker upgrade completed by the time Valkyries get out. He knows that it's a low racks count, like there's only 2, so how much stuff can this guy actually have? Also, he's critically taken a low ground base. That means that if we get into mid game, he can take a 4th base. I really do like this, because I don't think this is Vessels, I think this is Valkyrie, and Valkyrie's very expensive, like in terms of minerals, so he's not going to be able to build a lot of stuff, like not going to be able to ramp up his racks count, and it feels like Crossy's actually in a really good spot. He's also got Hive coming.
Yeah, I gotta say, he's playing pretty well. Drone count's looking very healthy. Imagine if a Crossy, he's able to bank all this gas. Imagine if he preemptively made some Scourge here. Could be a good call. But yeah, I see the science facility as well.
Yeah, it is actually going to be science facility. I'm surprised at this choice, because you have like no pressure with this. Like, you have to wait for the irradiates to bank up. You're only going to have 2, so you have to make a decision. Am I irradiating the Lurkers, or am I irradiating the mutas? If you irradiate the mutas, well, you can't bust anywhere. If you irradiate the Lurkers, well, the mutas are just going to wreak havoc on the Marines and buy more time. So I'm a little bit surprised at this, but it is a 5 racks follow-up. But like I said, Crossy's already set up. Like, I don't see him being able to be busted. Now, this could actually be an error. He is moving Hydras out in the map. Hopefully he's not going to try and set up for hold position Lurkers, because if he loses that army, well, then I can see his natural getting busted.
He might even go a step further, man. I'm going to call that. I've been seeing him do these big Lurker timings on naturals here. Not that he should, but there's a chance he makes like 8 Lurkers and tries to break the bunker in the wall.
I don't think this is going to be in time, because here comes Mihu. He's moving out. An irradiate would be devastating damage onto the mutas. Lurkers, they are moving out, but they're not outside of the natural, so they can't contain him just yet. But I have seen what you're talking about, where they just contain with Lurkers. Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely something Crossy likes to do. That supply block really hurt Crossy, by the way. And ooh, nice irradiate. Kills a couple mutas with it as well.
Oh, now look at this. Now this is a genius move. Now this is amazing. But it does leave his natural vulnerable. Hopefully he has some lurkers here. If he doesn't have any lurkers, I guess there is one irradiate, right? Because he did blow one on a single muta. Oh, there's the counter.
Here comes the counter. Looks like a couple lurkers did fall. And yeah, that's not just not quite going to be enough, unfortunately. So nice hold there from Mihu. Mihu knows that these units are back out on the map now, and he can look to trap them as well.
Man, I really thought that he was just going to send them or put them at the choke and just have them on hold position and try and catch reinforcements, because Mihu's army, you know, it's decent, right? It's like 2 groups, but it's not huge. So Terran's definitely going to be reinforcing like he's doing right now, which, by the way, I don't think a vessel was leading the charge. So imagine if there were lurkers there. He would have just killed all of those Marines as they move out. But it is what it is. The attempted counterattack did not work, but now Crossy's in real trouble because it's 4 vessels now. The Marine count did not get whittled down at all. There's multiple vessels, or the multiple arrays, and now it's going into a 7 rack. And now there's so much map control that if Mihu goes for drops, you know what I'm not seeing, Machine?
What?
I ain't seeing
Scourge?
no Scourge. And I ain't seeing no vision on the right side of the map, like none. So he's got to be very careful.
He's at least got a nice flock of mutas still remaining to defend drops, you know, at least for the main. But yeah, some Scourge here would be nice, at least to threaten the vessels, and because there's still also no defilers out. He's gonna need defilers just to be able to hang on here.
And he wants to end the game. He's like, oh, you don't have any lurkers? That's cute. Let's fight. And I think he's dead. I think there's too many Marines. If the Marines have +1 armor, I don't think there's any hope for Zerg. Maybe without armor, he can kill these Marines with his lurkers, but look at how fast everything dies. The lurkers are even coming from the Nidus, and look at them just pop as soon as they burrow.
They just weren't quite set up in time there. No defiler quite in time, and yeah, it's looking like Mihu's going to take game 1 here.
Yeah, remember I was talking about the speed machine? You see how fast those reinforcements? Oh, look how they're already there. That's Mihu thinks. That's Mihu thinks. He's just got incredible macro, and at the same time the multitask. It's nuts. He has an entire army to back it up. He's like, oh, you killed 80% of Marines. Yeah, that's funny because I just replaced all of them. Good luck.
Good luck. Oh man, didn't lose a vessel either. I mean, just the unit retention was insane. Constant pressure. And it's not like what mistake did Crossy make, right? Like maybe you could call that cute lurker, 4 lurker muta counter timing a mistake, but I mean, he was on top of his drones. Hive timing was great. Muta pressure was constant. He scouted everything out. Like, there's no big mistakes here coming out of Cross, but Mihu's still able to just kind of separate himself, man. He's just gonna be a big problem.
I think I think Crossy. Yes, he hit his build, but in CVT, you got to do more than just hit your build, unless you're doing crazy Zerg, right? Like, one thing I did notice with his mutas is, like I said, it was a fast tech build. Did not deny the factory. Did not harass the mineral line, right? Do you remember seeing mutas harass the mineral line? I don't, except for killing 1 SCV. Versus Terran, you got to do something to them, because they just get out of control real quick. Like, supplies were really close for a long time, right? Like, before the attack happened, it was like 100 to 85 or something. Near the end, in the final attack, it was 140 to 90. So what happened there? How did Terran shoot up 40 supply and Zerg stagnated? Like, you've got to do something to Terran, because they go bananas if nothing happens to the mineral line. So I think Crossy probably watches the replay, probably thinks to himself, like, the same thing I said, like, okay, he went fast tech, but I didn't do anything about it. I need to do something about that if that happens in game 2.
Yeah, maybe just, I mean, for quite a bit there, he had more than a control group of mutas, right? I think if you have a good, like, 16, 17 muta, you got to just start trading it for something. Whether, like you're saying, whether that's SCVs, you're trying to snipe a, a vessel that's out of position, you got to just make some kind of a trade. And actually, whoa, he's going to end up picking Neo Dark Origin against Mihu. I'm excited to see how this one's going to play out, man. But with that, both our players are ready to go, folks. Let's get into game number 2 here. Mihu versus Crossy on Dark Origin. And spawning bottom right as the white Terran from China, it is Mihu.
And in the top left, we do have our Canadian Zerg. It is Crossy, and I don't know if Crossy was, hoping to coin flip here and get bottom right and take that away from Terran, but Terran got the best spawn. It's not even close. If this is Gypsy, I think it's highly likely that this is an 8-Rax. And we do have the SCV coming down, but this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be for an 8-Rax. This could be just for the depot.
Probably the depot, right? You just need to take a... Oh, I lied. I don't know what I'm talking about here now. It's going to be the 8-Rax.
Well, maybe Crossy, just like me who had a read on Crossy in game 1, maybe he knows that, hey, this guy goes for 8-Rax often if he gets the bottom right. And hopefully Crossy puts down a pool, because if he doesn't put down a pool here, well, it's going to be ugly. And, well, Machine, it's going to be ugly, because this is an 8-Rax into a 12 hatch.
Yeah, it's going to be a 12 hatch. I mean, it's not game over, right? Like, you could very much hold this 8-Rax, obviously. I just want to see the over drone, pull. I want to see 8-9 drones being pulled, trying to defend this and just completely run it over. There we go. Like I said, Mihu loves this build, man. He's very good at this play. It's like, I think of it as the Terror opener. Terror loves to go 8-Rax gas. He'll put on pressure with this early 8-Rax, but he's actually not looking to kill you with this. It's a very easy transition out into a factory. And something that just a lot of players aren't accustomed to because it's just fallen out of the meta. It's not that it ever went bad. It's just you don't see a lot of Terrans doing it right now.
Well, Machine, we're in ASL, which means we just chase the worker with our own worker. And unfortunately for Crossy, I don't think he's going to scout that this is a 1-1-1. He's in trouble. What's funny is he needs this drone to help defend the 8-Rax. But at the same time, he needs to know what this is. He needs to know that this is not a command center follow-up. Mihu actually has kind of gotten an awkward build now, because when you do an 8-Rax with a bunker, look what he can't build. He can't build his factory right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that this bunker is even built. That's weird to me. But, I mean, either way, it's a bunker with a marine in it. Factory is being built, but yeah, I'm really surprised he made that bunker.
Yeah, a lot of times that's one way you can tell whether it's 1-1-1 or not, is if they build a bunker. So this is kind of a mix-up here. Oh, snipes a drone, snipes another drone.
Oh, Mike. What is going on, Nyoken? This is insane. I mean, remember, these drones aren't mining either.
I know, and how many did he pull? He pulled, 8 drones? I think actually 8 to 9 is the number, because like you said, when I watch pros, generally what they do is they leave 3 or 4 drones to mine minerals, and that's it. And that's kind of around the 8 to 9 drone pool count. So this 8-Rax is going to be cleaned up. He's probably going to be feeling pretty good, like, hey, I dealt with it decently well. I lost 2 drones. But the Marines didn't deal that much damage. Also, not a lot got into the bunker. But like I said, the thing is he still doesn't know. There's going to be a vulture in your base in a second.
He should know now. That Overlord finally went over that natural cliff, does not see the command center. It is time to react. He has to know. Now there has to be a sunken being built, or this is game over. Mihu will kill you with a vulture.
Yeah, also he needs to get rid of this SCV, because you can jump the SCV plus vulture over the mineral at top middle. There's the sunken colony. He does know that this is a tech follow-up. Doesn't necessarily know what the tech follow-up is, and he actually has a Ling over there to spot. It's a really smart move from
it sure is.
Crossy. And it is a fast starport follow-up also.
Yeah, it's going to be fast starport. He likes to go from this into, Expo vessel. So I don't really expect him to do anything too insane. I don't know. Maybe he makes a dropship and tries to do something with the vulture. But, did force that sunken out of Crossy. Crossy, great job in, recognizing, getting that sunken well in time. And, I'm kind of just interested to see what Crossy does from here. Is he going to go to fast layer? Is there going to be a Hydroden? And it is Hydroden. I thought there might be a Hydroden with this. So Pretty standard way to basically just middle of the road, hold anything Terran could be doing off this 1-1-1 build, as well as threaten potential Hydra timing of your own as Zerg.
Well, here we go. That's a lot of lings. No speed though. Not sure exactly what that's gonna really do for Crossy here. The first Wraith is out, and see you later, Overlord. Now, what does Mihu want to do with this? Because you have a lot of options. You can go mech, you can go vessel, you can, all in one base, but we know a command center is coming down, so that's not going to be the case. But he actually goes instant add-on. This could actually be for Cloaked Wraith, maybe. Ooh, Vultures get caught!
Ooh, not quite. They're out. They're killing quite a few of these speedlings. Crossy obviously having to show that the speedlings. One vulture does fall. The other is well within the red here.
Oh, okay. That was definitely worth. He got so many lings. He might even get a drone here. Oh, he saves it. The Hydras are out of position. Yeah. How many Marines does he have?
Just 2. And those are speedlings. At least looks like the SCV is coming out at the proper time. Will save one of those Marines.
Ends up holding on, and he's going to be feeling... Oh, I just realized. I was like, dude, does he not have a lair? Yeah, he doesn't have a lair. Machine,
yeah,
this is real bad.
I think this isn't as bad as you'd think, as long as he does do like a 5 to 7 Hydra pressure. That being said, mines are already out, and there's no Overlord to detect this, so yeah.
And like last game where I was saying, like, when you see Terran going into high tech really fast, you need to do something about it, whether it's killing SCVs or delaying the tech. Problem is Terran's literally got all their tech already. Now he's got a command center done. You haven't even started your Spire. Like, mutas are what, 4 minutes away at this point? Terran can do anything he wants. Also, he had the Wraith to scout. I'm not sure if he actually saw the natural, but if he knows there's no lair, I mean, he doesn't even have to get an eBay at this point if he doesn't want it.
Yeah, I mean, I really think he's gonna go into 1-1-1, like bio. So I think he's getting it probably for upgrades, but we'll see.
Well, there's another something coming out of that starport. I think it's going to be a dropship because he has these vultures. They've used their mines. What else can they be used for or useful for? But actually, it's a third Wraith. Okay. I don't remember seeing him get cloaked. So I'm not sure exactly what these 3 Wraiths are supposed to do. Maybe he can find straggler overlords like he's finding straggler Hydras.
Yeah, maybe. I'm a little shocked to see that third Wraith as well. I'm not sure what that's supposed to accomplish. Because once Spire does complete, they're just kind of made out of paper, man. They'll die to any amount of muta here.
Not exactly the most effective unit versus Mutalist, but they do have a decent amount of health. They can soak up hits. That's for sure. There's still no Spire, by the way. Hopefully, Crossy has gone lurkers or something as a follow-up. He's got a lot of money. Like, you can see his eco looks like it's pretty good. 800 mineral, 600 gas. Okay, these Wraith, if they deny the drone, that would be amazing.
Ooh, does at least scout that third base. And there are 3 hatcheries here already for Cross. I mean, these are the random pickups you were talking about, man. They do great job at tearing down Overlords. Is going to scout the main, probably not even looking to get a drone kill here. Oh, he does get one anyway. He's just looking for Spire. Doesn't see one.
If I was Zerg here and I saw this guy killing my Overlords, I'd be thinking, well, he must have Cloak. But the fact that he comes in here, just pops drones, doesn't even trigger Cloak at all, I'd be thinking, like, really? You built 3 Wraiths without Cloak? Why? But it's getting value. He's killed 2 drones, 2 Overlords, may even get a third. Okay, he finally loses a Wraith.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get this one as well.
And
Big
by the way,
pickup.
that moving shot that he did where it looks like the Wraiths just glide and don't decelerate at all, not easy to do, by the way, even though it looked easy.
Yeah, not at all. He makes it look so clean. Academy just about to finish up here, so Stim and Range likely going to be on their way. Vessel count going to start to grow here as well. Yeah, and he knows where Zerg's third gas base is going to be. So I think he just moves on to that mid-left high ground and can likely pressure down from there.
The barracks count is getting ramped up, Machine. Factory already had an add-on. That means tank count's going to start ramping up. Academy just finished. Stim is not done. Range obviously not done, but the first vessel is out. Crossy has to do something here. Like, he needs to pressure, like you said. Well, I guess he can't do that because there's a bunker. I don't really know what Crossy can do here. Is he going to all in? I mean, that's a lot of stuff that I see coming across the map.
Yeah, it's going to be a big Hydra timing. But Mihu's just ready for it. Repair's too strong. Crossy's got to recognize the backup here.
Clutch repair there, and the repair means that you're not getting in here, sir. And with no lurkers, the Marines are just going to hold the line forever. Oh, what are those Hydras doing?
Just sped down to their death. Oh, man, that's a funny glitch.
He was probably like, what the heck was that? But that was not any damage at all for Crossy, and like you were saying, Mihu knows where the third base is. He's taken no damage. He's killed multiple overlords and drones and hydras with his vultures. The tank count is at 2 now. Terran's got stim. I'm sure range is either done or coming. Vessel count is at 3. I don't even know how that is possible. And Terran probably could just A move at this point because there's still no lurkers.
I think he's just waiting for his Marine range, and then it's go time. He's I think the play here is move mid left, pressure down on that third. There's a reason why Zerg shouldn't take that third base. Honestly, Radiate going down on a Hydra.
I think he's doing exactly what you should do, which is you got to do something. You got to hold the bridges and try and stall for time. There's the real answer to the army, which is the lurkers, but there's only 4 of them? Okay, that's a lot. There's 7 of them. 10 of them, but there's no supporting army. There's nothing to support them.
Yeah, no lings. Also, no third gas being taken quite yet for Crossy, so... Radiate's going down. Siege tanks sieging in position. Yeah, this is Crossy just being forced to back up here. He's got to be on all-out Hydra production. Likely knows that this is, could potentially be the end of the game.
I think he's got to engage like right now. He's got a decent lurker count, decent Hydra count. The Terran army, it is bigger than Zerg's, but if he just sits here, he's going to get irradiated to death, get hit by the tanks, and Terran's just going to reinforce non-stop. One bad thing is, of course, he can't exploit the bridges at all. Like, he can't make use of them at all, so he is big time trouble in that sense. And Mihu sees an opening here. He's going to try and stem for it. No, he's going to have a big engagement.
Lurkers getting in on that bio. Siege tanks, though, are still spaced so far below. It's going to be tough for Crossy to engage. One tank does fall, but it's clear that Mihu's he's just trading so much more effectively.
And Mihu has something at the top side of his... Okay, those are all depots. I thought it was a command center or more racks or something, but not the case. But the supplies tell the whole story here. Terran's up 50 supply. Zerg only has 60 in total. There's a command center, and I guess Mihu's expecting him to not die at this juncture of the game, but there's really not much Zerg can do. Once Terran gets into a position like this, like, you just can't engage. Like, the tanks are so far back.
Yeah, not a single vessel has fallen. All the lurkers are... I say that, jinxed it, but...
That's how it happens, Machine. It's always the case. There's the GG.
GG is called. Wow, what a clean game there from Mihu. As expected, took a pretty solid 2-0 series there off of Crossy.
Yeah, and as expected, I think Mihu is the man to beat in this group. I think in general, Crossy, Gypsy, JDConan, they're somewhat even in skill, but that game did not look close. The Radon game looked sort of close, right, until the massive attack from Mihu. Yeah. But Crossy, he's going to need to channel something here because, I guess he may not have to worry about Mihu because Mihu's moving on and he'll be facing Gypsy. But if somehow Gypsy takes down Mihu, Crossy's going to have to pull out something special here if we get a rematch with him because Mihu looks like he's just top notch right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to even pull a mistake out of either of those games from Mihu's side. He's just looking like he's like he always does. He's going to be playing, some pretty clean StarCraft here. But still, he's going to have to face off against big old Gypsy here in a TVT series.
As I was saying, Gypsy, I think, is legitimately the only player that has beaten Mihu in a series, other than the Asian qualifier where Dugu won versus Mihu. Other than that, I can't think of any series that Mihu has lost. He has lost a game here and there, like versus Ziki, and I think he lost one game versus Crossy, but maybe Gypsy can do it again. Maybe he can say in BSL18, like, hey, you remember season 12 or whatever it was? How I won there? Well, don't forget it, because I'm gonna win here also.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way to do it, especially if Mihu is, remembers. Maybe he fears the big Gyp, He's left an impression on him.
Maybe. You can see his versus Terran win rate is 80%. I think the only losses are versus Gypsy. Of course, the 80% win rate looks really high, but you gotta remember, how many Terrans is Mihu playing in BSL, right? Like, when
Right.
Terran's in BSL, it's Terror and Gypsy, and that's it.
Maybe
So
you.
he probably,
That's about
yeah,
it.
maybe me. Yeah, me. And he beat me. So, I mean, I'm sure there's not very many games versus Terran, but you can see his versus Protoss win rate is absurd. 90%, 82% versus Zerg. Also absolutely crazy. Meanwhile, Gypsy, no joke, look at the win rate versus Terrans. 71% win rate. That's crazy. But again, what Terrans is he facing? Well, 2 of them were versus Mihu, actually. So that should be a confidence booster for him.
For sure. I mean, 71% win rate. That's Jadong ZVZ level, right? That's like big threat. So, yeah. I mean, if anyone could pull it off, and he's proved it in the past, it can't be Gyp. So, gonna be exciting here. But yeah, obviously, we're also gonna have a ZVZ series after this winners finals here as well. JDConan facing off against Cross, so that'll be fun.
I think the first map is going to be Vermeer. Again, we're going to have a big macro map. I think that this map is actually really good for Mihu because of exactly what I said, is he does a lot of movement. He's really fast. And with Vermeer, you've got high ground in the middle on all middles. Top, middle, left, bottom, right. They're all there. So if you ever feel like you're losing control over one side, well, you may over defend there and then lose control over the other side, and then you're in real trouble. But Gypsy does play quite quick like Mihu also, but he's going to need to be on top of his game in general versus Mihu, but especially on Vermeer, where you can lose control over the map really, really fast.
What about Vermeer, I guess,
grounds,
allows
man.
for that? The high grounds? Okay.
Yeah, because if you get the high ground, you can slowly creep and bust the third base. And if you make a move that pulls units out of position, if you've got the multitask like Mihu, which he obviously does, he's going to just capitalize on you moving your units out of position and bust somewhere. So luckily for Gypsy, he plays Vulture style also, which allows you to scale your factory count, your units really quickly. So I'm sure he'll be able to manage, unlike me, who goes tank Wraith and I just don't have anything to combat that. But it is going to be very, very hard.
I mean, I was going to say, do you really want to get in a Vulture war with Mihu, right? Maybe walling off and going tank Wraith could be an option, or do you think that's maybe a disadvantage in a TVT against Mihu?
I think if you are playing TVT, you need to play Vultures. If you can't play Vultures, you're doomed in this matchup. They're too good. They're too cheap. They deal so much damage. They force you to get an academy, which you don't even really want, which cuts into your production, cuts into your SCVs. I think Tank Wraith can be good, but it needs to be a mix-up in the sense of 8 racks, right? If you're somebody that Vultures all the time, you need to mix in a Tank Wraith play to just throw them off, to make sure you don't get, mega blind countered, kind of what Mihu did in Game 1 on Radon versus Crossy, where I can't even believe what I was watching him not scout, command center, no Marines, builds one Marine, goes into a second Rax, and it's am I missing something here? Do you just have vision of this guy's base and knows that he's not going full first, right? So in that sense, you need to play Tank Wraith just to be, not get mega blind coming, but I don't think it's going to happen in Gypsy versus Mihu series.
Yeah, it could just be a read. But yeah, folks, if you're looking to pick up some BSL swag here, head on over to the Bombastic shop and get 18% off with the code BSL18. We got some pretty fine looking hoodies here. And once again, if you donate to the Treon, Zero will add your name here to this amazing swag, folks. So donate, make BSL19 happen, and get your name on a nice hoodie, folks.
Remember, if you're a Patreon supporter, $10 or above, you get all the replays. I mean, just to get the replay as a Terran player, to see how the hell Mihu just obliterates Crossy that easily is worth the $10. Because Crossy's, a 2500-ish type of player. And he just walked him over. He just put him on a leash and walked him. Like, it's just incredible. It's just crazy because I feel like Crossy is better than I am. But I feel like, there's a world where I can take games off Crossy, right? And then I watch this game and I'm like, dude, there was no point in this game where Crossy had a chance. How does he make it look so easy?
I don't know, man. I'm really not sure. And it's true, man. Like you said, Crossy, being a 2500 level player automatically makes him one of the best. So, I mean, Mihu's just showing there's levels to this, man. But with this, obviously, map going to be Vermeer. Both of our players are set to go here. It's going to be the TVT of a lifetime. Gypsy facing off against Mihu. Game 1.
Okay, in the top left, we do have Gypsy.
And spawning at the bottom right as the blue Terran, we have Mihu.
Okay, well, even though 8 racks is quite a thing in Terran versus Zerg, 8 racks used to be somewhat of a thing in Terran versus Terran, but I think players have boosted their minerals or gotten very good at boosting their minerals so often that 8 racks is not really that like a thing anymore because Terran can just be so streamlined in their openers. Like where's your opening now with an 8 racks? It's hard to make something like that work. So
don't you mean because linebackers are just so strong?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, they got 60 health.
They do, man. Like a Marine walking up to your base like TVT just sounds comical early game. Like, oh, I take my worker and I spam right click on your unit. Yeah, and it dies. Like, it's crazy. Obviously it's not quite like that, but yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I was reminded of how strong the SCVs were because a guy just walked in my base and killed my Marine. I wasn't looking for a second because, nobody fights your Marine, at least in my experience, on ladder. So I looked away and I came back and my Marine was dead. And I was like, okay, it's one of those types of players. And then I got A-moved. I mean, he built 4 Marines, 2 Vultures, and just A-moved. And for those Terran players out there watching, that 4 Marines, 2 Vultures, that's not a thing. But it is a thing when I don't have any Marines and I didn't build a bunker and I didn't build a Vulture. But look at this. This is Command Center first from Gypsy. And actually, Mihu has gone for somewhat of a quickish scout.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be cross scout, so maybe, he's not going to get away with, some kind of a miracle scout seeing this command center so early. But still, you know what? Knowing nothing about TVT, I like this from Gypsy here, right? Take some risks. It's cross map. I think this is going to pay off a little bit here, or I'm hoping it's going to pay off a little bit. You got to get some kind of an advantage here.
Okay, and Mihu is going to find him second. And like I said, this scout was sort of quick, but not, unbelievably fast. Mihu's already pulled off a gas. That means any type... well, he's got 2 on gas, actually. I guess he does have the potential to 1 base if he wants to, but it is also cross-spawn. But also, in my experience, playing versus 14cc, it's hard to punish this, like, unless you scout it immediately. And in fact, I don't really know how Mihu plans to punish this, because you can kill an all-in with pure vulture. I've seen players go 3 factory, 4 factory, and they just have so many vultures. I'm like, I don't know how you're affording this, but you did, and my entire all-in just gets slammed, and it just makes me question, why did I even bother trying to all-in this? So I think Mihu should probably just accept the L, accept that he's going to be down like 4 workers, and just command center himself.
It looks kind of like what he's doing. We're seeing that command center start here at the natural now for Mihu. I mean, the one thing you kind of have is you're giving up map control early, right? And map control is like huge TVT. So at least he knows Gypsy's contained, and there's not really much else that could be going on outside of Gypsy spamming some SCVs at the main and natural.
Oh, see you later, SCV. And now confirming that there is a command center is obviously going to be great for Gypsy. And now, I mean, he doesn't have to worry about getting all in. He can just go tank Goliath from this point, because of course he didn't get into the main. He doesn't know what Mihu's doing. I think that's the safe option. And you know, someone that makes tank Goliath, okay, well, we're not going to get that because it is 3 fact. I think he's now just playing the player here. He knows that Mihu's a vulture type of guy. But versus someone else, you do have to respect the potential that there could be Wraith. But this is going to be a good read from him. And 3 fact versus 2 fact, well, this is a dream scenario for Gypsy at this point.
Why is Mihu not moving across the map with the initial 2 vultures?
I don't really think he gets anything with this. Like, there's a bunker there. He can't do damage. I think if he's going to move the vultures out, he needs to do it so he can lay mines. Now, that's a good move, because then you can kind of track where the other vultures are. Like, even if you just put a mine in a random spot, if the vulture happens to run over it, well, you know where they are. But I don't even know if he's getting mines. If he's getting speed, that would be confusing, but it is a common follow-up. This is double add-on for Mihu, by the way. And you can see Gypsy does respect that there could be Wraith, so he's getting an armory just in case, but he's only going to be building Goliaths if he suspects that the Wraiths are going to be on the field. Otherwise, it's going to be just pure vulture and just lay mines all over the map.
We're seeing, you know, Gypsy's factories blinking. Meanwhile, Mihu, not as much. Yeah, it seems like his unit production's a little stalled. Maybe this is just fallout from, you know, having the disadvantage in build orders here early on. Either way, it was mines. 4 vultures moving out here for Mihu, scouting around the map, placing some key mines in key positions.
Wow, this is a interesting build from Mihu. There's the mines like I was talking about, and you see how Gypsy has gone speed. You know, he can't get any damage done with this, but the mines see that the vultures are, you know, all over the place, so he knows where they are at certain points. But Gypsy has a lot of. Is he serious? He has 4 vultures, and like this is what I was talking about. Is the starport is very weird. This game is over, man. This is 8 vultures versus 4. He can one-shot the vultures. If he focuses down the marine, there's nothing to get in the bunker. There it goes, a full SCV pull. I think he also saw the dropship. So he knows that not only is this guy on 2 factory, he's also gone starport versus a 14cc. He's forced a full SCV pull. The lead that Gypsy has right now is unreal.
I can't believe what we're witnessing, man. This is incredible. You said it at the start of everyone in the BSL so far. The only to take even a game so far has really just been Gypsy. So kind of interesting to see that he's even gotten to a position where he's at an advantage against Mihu, you know?
Aaron, Gypsy can do almost whatever he wants at this point. He could put down another command center. He could flood factories, which is what a lot of players do. They flood, go like 5 fact and then take a command center. But because he has map, look at Mihu. He's taking his hand off the keyboard. I actually think Mihu knows that he's already dead, but he's going to continue to play. His supplies are still very high. Of course, he's not out of it yet, but he is. It is unreal how behind he is. I think his best hope here is to go mass drops, like I was saying, or like he's been going. But the thing is every time he builds a dropship, That's 100
It's
gas. That
almost
could have been a tank. That could have been almost a factory. And Gypsy's aware of that. He's gonna know, like, hey, you built 3, 4 dropships. Yeah, that's cute, man. But where's your production? Oh, that's right. You don't have any because they're all in tank, all in dropship. But like I was saying, Gypsy solved the first dropship, I think. So if he suspects that a drop is coming, this could get easily shut down. But at the same time, just now starting a starport, no mines in the main. Maybe he missed the dropship. Maybe I misread that situation. But what Mihu needs to do now is he needs to go straight to mid left and shut down this base.
This is a big risk at the same time. What does Mihu have at home? Maybe a couple tanks? Somehow, though, Gypsy is reading this. We're seeing him pull all of his vultures back. He is anticipating this somehow.
He's gonna get mid left denied. And
I don't committal for a base that's not mine.
Well, the SCVs are the perfect time. Like, aren't they here? He just pulls. There's not a lot of DPS here. It's just Goliath Vulture. But if he can, there's no support. Is it just 5 tanks? Are there Goliaths even in this army? Okay, there are.
No.
Oh, the mine. Oh, he sniped
mine
it.
goes down. No way Mihu controlled this so well.
The Goliath did so much work there. Focusing down that mine was huge. It was a huge save. And actually, look at this. Mihu's up in supply by 10.
I can't believe this. I can't believe this.
This was the one move that Mihu had to get back into this game. He does not have vision of the tanks anymore, so the tanks should be able to pick them off slowly. But now, not only did Gypsy lose mid-left, he didn't kill any of the dropships. He lost all of his vultures. He lost like 10 SCVs there. So the econ is kind of reset in that sense, but there still is the issue is that there's not a lot of production from Mihu. Whereas Gypsy here, I think has gone into 5 factory, but the real threat is these 3 dropships. Now all he really needs to do is if he builds 1 more dropship, that's 4, and 4 is when it really starts getting scary. The Rack spots the drop coming, and it looks like Gypsy did realize that because I saw his camera go over there, but I don't see any units moving over there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to know this drop is going for his main. I'm almost shocked, though, because Mihu also saw that Gypsy's barracks saw the drop, so there's, like, some mind games going on here. But yeah, it looks like he's still just going to go for the main. Like,
actually, Gypsy needs to get some mine set up or something. He does have a Wraith, but there's not that much. Oh, he's got 2 Wraith, but they're still going to unload, and they're in the sweet spot. They're going to unload out of range of that tank. Oh, never mind, he's not in the sweet spot. The tanks are going to siege up. And the Vultures soaked up the shot first. That means that Gypsy gets the free tank shots, picks off so many tanks immediately, and now Mihu's just got to run. This game is still quite close because of the 3rd base drop. Supplies are within 10 now. Mihu's going to have his 3rd base coming up pretty soon. But one critical thing I saw in Mihai's main was Science Facility done. He's going to have +2 weapon coming pretty soon, and everybody that's played TVT knows +2 weapon is massive in Terran versus Terran.
I'm surprised no mine to block that 3rd base. But yeah, +2 obviously going to be huge here. It's Mihu still making this a game, though. Like, he's slowly dragging himself back into this, even given the eco deficit, unit deficit. But suddenly, once again, vultures across the map here for Gypsy. He might look to pressure this 3rd base.
He's got enough stuff. I think he could break it. It's going to be... Yeah, look at that tank count. Remember, Mihu just used a ton of dropships that got shut down. Also remember, every dropship he built could have been a tank. And those tanks at mid-left got cleaned up relatively easy by Gypsy. If he was to send everything, I think he could bust this, but of course that would be a risky move. So instead, he's going to play it safe. Just set up the siege contain. But you do got to consider, Mihu already has dropships, so I'm not sure how effective this contain is going to be. Gypsy's acting like he's going to put down a 4th base, so is Mihu. But now we're starting to get into the point in the game where it all comes down to macro. We've got double armory, double upgrades. We've got 7 or 8 fact for Mihu, so it's a lot of production from him.
Yeah, 8 factories. That's, that's great given everything that's happened here so far. As you said, it looks like Mihu trying to position to take his own 4th, recognizing that, Gypsy's kind of got the better map control at the moment. Ooh, little vulture skirmish. Looks like Gypsy came out slightly ahead there.
And this is, if this was Artosis playing, this is the point where I get into my Discord and ping TT1 that we're going split map, baby, because I don't think either player's going to be able to bust each other because the setup is too good, and it seems like Gypsy's, you know, also accepted that he's not going to be able to bust, so he's just setting up a contain, but Mihu, how's he going to get on? Remember I was talking about Vermeer being tough if you lose the high grounds?
Yep.
Well, nobody has high ground on this side. The left side is taken by Gypsy. Like, this is not going to be taken ever from Mihu. But if Mihai can get this top right side set up, he's looking like he's in a fantastic position to just contain Mihu on 4 bases for the rest of the game.
Yeah, middle is, completely owned by Gypsy. We're already seeing, turrets in position. There's definitely, there's only one way out here for Mihu, and it's going to be this mid-right high ground. And yeah, Gypsy wisely backing off Mihu, putting the appropriate amount of pressure there to at least somewhat hold it for now, keep a lane available to transfer SCVs to that 4th base. Gypsy already on his own 4th base with gas, so yeah.
He caught him. He caught him with no siege. This is the opportunity Mihu needs to try and take this game back in his favor. He's going to catch 3 tanks. Of course, it's a loss for Gypsy here, but remember all the tanks that he did get himself. So I feel like this is okay. He can bleed a couple of tanks here, but the real threat is now Mihu has gotten up across that high ground, and he can start legitimately splitting the map now. Tanks moving into position, vultures moving into position. There's not that many tanks for Gypsy, but he focuses down one of the tanks. Mihu focuses down one of the tanks also. It's high ground now. Reinforcements, is there enough for Mihu? I'm gonna say I don't think so. And also I think Mihai has been banking up race. You know what I'm not seeing in this army machine? Is I don't see no Goliaths. So if those race show up, that could be bad news bears for Mihu.
Yeah, it really could, man. Gypsy, I mean, looks like he's just kind of staying in it, getting it done. We are seeing that the supplies are completely even now. So whatever advantage there was prior, dropships being produced here from Gypsy, but whatever advantage there was prior has been completely negated. This is an even game now from both these players.
Yeah, it's looking like it's very, very close. Mihu is starting to take his top right corner, whereas Gypsy has started to take the bottom left corner. They're almost in sync, actually. Mihu critically scanned that not only were there not additional raids being built, but in fact more dropships, or the first few dropships, were being built from Gypsy. So he knows what the follow-up is. He knows that drops are the play. Now, what Gypsy needs to do is he needs to get a drop to top right and shut down that 3rd base. He can go split map like this and just sit here forever as long as he can deny bottom or top right. But instead there are dropships in the middle of the map. This is looking like he may want to drop the bottom somewhere. And what does Mihu want to do? Because this whole army is at top right, man. Oh, he's going for a bust. There's not that many tanks.
Oh, he does scan it though. Vultures coming in for the rescue. Dropships as well, and those are Goliaths on Gypsy's side, so I think he's actually going to hold here.
Yep, this is perfect play in TBT. This is what all the experts do, is they shadow the drops of the opposing player, and they just counter it. So Terran or Gypsy is going to, sort of lose this high ground, but he doesn't lose the top middle base in the sense, like, I don't think Mihu can take that, and he still retains a high tank count there. Also, he critically got rid of all the dropships. So now it's dropships versus no dropships, and I still believe in the lottery drop to top right if he can actually skirt through the top right side. But I'm sure Mihu would immediately counter, so he'll have to be on guard for that.
And yes, it looks like he is going to set up. He knows it. This is going to be a big moment here for Gypsy. If he eliminates even one of these top 3 bases, it's really going to be a big problem.
Goliath.
Oh my! Just in time. I can't believe it.
Oh, they stopped. They stopped.
Get in
5.
the high ground.
This is 5 dropships. You cannot contest this. Like, once they're set up, that's it. Like, okay, if there's an immediate siege mode, siege up.
Yeah, please scan. There we go.
Okay, he sieged up, and now there's no... Mihu can't do anything about this. Like I said, he lost his drops. I don't think he's been building Wraith. And all Mihu can do now, I feel like, it's got to be a Hail Mary, like a D-Matrix, and try and bust somewhere. There's no chance of him holding top right anymore. He may even have to, like, pull SCVs to bust somewhere, because where do you bust? I just see a line of red through the entire center of the map.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be
Yep, there it
12
goes.
o'clock, right? Yep. That's got to be the
Everything.
most...
You gotta send everything. And yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. But remember, it's +2 Terran. And there's just not enough. There's no way that this works. The tank count is insane. Also, look at Mihu. He misused his units in the center of the map. They're getting blown up by the tanks that are there. And we've got to see GG any moment now. It's 200 versus 120.
Yeah, if he only knew about that other top right base too, he could shut that down from mining with just a single siege tank at the top right main. I mean, Gypsy is looking like a monster here.
This was a good comeback from Mihu, though, because remember, he was down to command center first. He took a lot of damage to the vultures. He went 2-fact with a starport, and Gypsy saw it. So he knows that there's not a lot of production for him, yet he made the drops work, denied mid-left, killed a lot of SCVs, didn't necessarily kill a lot of tanks, got his 4th base, was going for a split map. I think it was literally just those Goliaths just not in position at top right. If they're at top right, the drop gets shut down. We probably go into like a 50-minute Terran versus Terran game where people are just shadowing their drop ships across the map, waiting for someone to make a mistake.
I like that, Mihu did a great job, or Gypsy did a great job once he had the advantage by just continuing to press, right? Although their base counts eventually became almost like mirrored, there was no opportunities really for Mihu to start, tearing apart bottom left from Gypsy because of the constant drops, the constant pressure. Gypsy fought for each and every single high ground, even mid-right, despite him not being able to hold it, right? He kept the pressure on and kept the action, and I mean, took a big win, a huge win against the favorite of favorites here. So, wow, very well done there from Gypsy.
You've got to be feeling really good about that, getting game 1 win, but like I said, you do have to remember, this was massive eco lead for Gypsy. I cannot tell you how big of a lead that is. That is like going 12 Nexus, you build nothing, and you get away with it. Like, I'm talking 0 Zealots, 0 Goons, you just go straight Robo, or straight Stargate and Zerg versus Protoss, you don't get any cannons. Like, that's how big of a lead it was, because he also killed the SCVs at the Natural. So, if that lead doesn't happen, and Mihu can still, if Mihu can recover from a deficit like that, getting into 4 base, almost splitting the map, you feel like his shots in game 2 are, of course, going to be really good. Now, the question to me is, what's map's going to be? Are we going to go into a big map again, like Radion, Citadel, or are you just going to try and push your luck on Dark Origin? Or maybe you pick Apocalypse, because let's say one player gets advantage, and let's assume that player is Mihu. Well, you can't split Apocalypse. That's just not a thing. You're just always going to have it in your favor. So you could do a dice roll here saying, as Mihu, like, okay, I'm not going to lose control over the map this time, and I'm going to be the one that gets the advantage if we go mid and late game by taking the other maid.
Yeah. Not a bad call here, but it looks like map going to be Neo Dark Origin. So, 2-player map, it's clear that Mihu's got some kind of a plan here to pick a smaller map, to pick a 2-player map. Obviously, on a map like this, Mihai is much less likely to get away with something like a 14cc. Maybe that's the thought process. Only Mihu knows. So either way, it's going to be an interesting match.
And Dark Origin is, not necessarily the same as the Apocalypse. If you lose control over the center, you can still sort of split it, but if you lose control over the center, well, good luck mining your 4th base, I guess. So, I guess Dark Origin and the Apocalypse are sort of the same in that sense, so I think we're ready now. So let's get into game 2 between Mihu and Gypsy. Okay, in the top left, up 1-0 in the series, we do have Gypsy.
And spawning bottom right as the Blue Terran from China, currently down 0-1, but looking to make that comeback. It is Mihu.
Well, just in terms of theory, I think this would have been a sick game if Gypsy had of 8 racks in Mihu's base, I don't think it would have been scouted. But we'll see if that happens. You know, we'll see if that would have happened. Of course, an 8 racks is not happening, but I think that would have been actually a killer move here. We do have Gyp. Okay, I saw him at 112 minerals. I was like, where's the depot? Where's the depot? Thought he might be doing like a 10-10-10 or something, but not the case.
Yeah, why take a big risk? You know, like it's not like he won with something like a proxy 5 racks or, you know, something initially. You can, you know, if you're Gypsy, you got to be feeling confident that you can play a macro game, given you just did. So I like the call here. Don't get too crazy.
Well, I would have gotten blown out of the water unless that very dark right corner was not in vision. And it looks like it would have been in vision, so 8 racks would have gotten shut down immediately. And I think, was this a 12 gas from both sides? Yeah, 12 gas from both sides. That's very normal in TVT.
So no, you know, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing unusual here. You think we'll probably see something like another 3-fact style opener, CC in the 3-fact?
This is 3-fact versus 3-fact. I'm calling it now. I feel like the Tank Goliath opener was, you know, in response to Gypsy going command center first, and 2-port is like a very common follow-up. You have to respect it because of how common it is. And now that that's going to be off the table, you know, what's the likelihood of this guy going 1-fact, 1-port off of a normal opener? Well, it's not very high. It is still a common play, but, you know, Wraiths don't do that much damage 1 by 1. So you can get an armory in time and limit the amount of damage. So I do expect it to be Vulture Man this game. We've got factories coming down at mirrored times from both sides. Actually, Mihu has cut something, whereas Gypsy was up supply momentarily. He's up by 1 worker, man. I mean, that's, you know, not something to scoff at. You got NSC mining for like 10 seconds faster or 10 seconds longer.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's something. It's an advantage, right? You know, we'll take each and every advantage we can get. Looks like Gypsy's SCV going to be pushed out by that first Marine of Mihu.
And common play these days is 2 Marines, and then evaluate on what you want to do, whether it's Vulture or straight add-on into Tank is a common play. But 2 Marines, very normal. In the past, it used to be just 1 float your barracks immediately and scouts. And, you know, in the very olden days, it was, who the hell needs a Marine? What does that do? Vulture's just 2-shot it. SCVs beat it. What does a Marine actually beat? It doesn't beat anything. You don't build them at all. But, you know, like I was talking about earlier in the cast, where yesterday I died to 4 Marines plus 2 Vultures. I mean, they add a lot of DPS, so you do have to build a couple of them. And it is instant add-on. Now, Gypsy did play Light recently on stream, and Light went straight factory like this and just killed him with a Tank Vulture follow-up. And what this will do is, if this is a tank, it allows him to push really hard into some builds that have no add-ons, and there's almost no counter to play to this unless you have an add-on. So the fact that there's no add-on, if this is a tank and he moves with this move, Mihu could be in trouble. But there is no second factory, so I'm not sure if Mihai will actually make that move or not.
Well, we are seeing it is a tank. 2 Marines starting to push forward a little bit. I don't know if that's to harass the barracks, or maybe he is just getting prepared to move across the map here.
So, even if he doesn't attack with this, what is nice about the tank, especially into somebody that didn't get an add-on for so long, is you're going to be able to control the bridges, right? If you're feeling confident to move out, you can control the bridges. In Dark Origin, if you control the bridges, I mean, you almost control everything. So this could be... Oh, well, actually, he just lost his rank. I thought the tank would be...
He did that.
I thought the tank would be more forward. I think he's trying to bait the Vultures in to die, but I don't know. Now he sees how many Vultures there are. There's 3, so he knows it was 3 with no add-on. And look at him. Now he's moving across the map. Yes, he lost the Marines, but now he knows. Like, hey, you have more Vultures than you have, than you're supposed to have. Oh, actually, he's not moving. I'm curious what this is for.
Maybe he's afraid of... I know that it can't be mines because, no add-on, but maybe he doesn't want to move out in case there's mines or backstab. I don't know.
Oh, here we go. He is moving into position now. He just wanted to wait for, I guess, a Vulture to come get synced up. But what is... Okay, there's a lot of vultures on the right side, but he doesn't have mines. A lot of Terran players go speed.
These tanks are split.
Well, actually, I think this could be an over... Okay, there's no tank out for Mihu. Look at this. It's going to be a full-on surround. The question is how many... I think, actually, Mihai needs to start running now. There's so many vultures on the bank, and if SCVs get pulled also... But the vultures are blocked by the racks. Oh, the SCVs! Good focus fire.
Yeah, good surround here from Mihu, though. This is going to be
mine.
close. Oh, man. Oh, no!
What? They both split up and hit the tank. I thought one tank was gonna take all of the damage there, but both of them get blown up, and now this is a massive advantage for me, who not only did he hold the attack, he's got the better unit comp, which is just pure vulture, as surprising as that sounds, and he has mines. So there's no map control for Mihai anymore. He's gonna try and have a vulture battle here, but I don't think he can win it.
At least Mihu doesn't have speed yet on the vultures, so I mean Gypsy might be able to just, if he really focuses on holding the ramps here, will be fine, but still he doesn't even need to, right? Like Mihu has a great economy with that natural. He might even not really feel like he needs to kind of pressure out at the moment, just hold his advantage.
Yeah, Gypsy is in big time trouble now. He's still, you know, if you look at supply, you're thinking, well, what do you mean? He's even in supply. He's got the same amount of bases, but the thing is that he knows that he has to build a million vultures just to hold the vulture count of Mihu. And meanwhile, Mihu has gotten double add-on, so you can start building tanks now. Mihu hasn't done as good of a job with the mines as I expected, but look, he knows where the vultures are, and he's saying, dude, your vultures, well, they're way out of position. I actually thought Mihu was going to counter, but he's just sitting here waiting, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why. There might be an engagement here. I'm not sure if Gypsy expects the vultures to be on the mid-left there, but oh, actually looks like he's just going to go back to guarding the ramp.
Yeah, but look at the army now for Mihu. I mean, there's 3 tanks, 3 Goliaths. This is a lot of firepower with vulture support, and now Mihu's going to make his counterplay. He saw the vultures move out from the natural, and hello, I'm here, and all of these SCVs, they're going to get taken down. And now, all Mihu needs to do now is, if he has comsat, this is the time to get across the bridges and alleviate all those mines being placed.
Yeah, just kind of take that center of the map. As you said, you know, the center of the map being so important on Dark Origin. He, you know, will be able to contain Gypsy from there.
Yep, there's the scan, and with this scan going down, Gypsy is in massive trouble. The tank line is being set up, so he can never get the bridge advantage over Mihu. This is kind of what happens on Dark Origin almost every game, but I'm actually surprised Mihu didn't go farther. Maybe he doesn't have as many scans as I thought. You've actually got a drop. Now you can siege the natural with tanks.
Yes.
But, you know, those aren't, if it's just one drop, that's not going to be a very strong drop. So I'm hoping that this is just for vultures. A vulture drop. Oh, why?
No.
Why are they, Machine, why are they there? Can you tell me why they're there?
No, I can't tell you why they're there. They're there because it's the right fucking call, I guess. Man, that's nuts. I can't believe that. But yeah, that did nothing. I mean, it was the perfect timing. Like, I don't know if he scanned a dropship or what, but wow.
The only thing I can think of is that mine at the 4th base. Maybe his dropship ran over it.
Oh,
that
maybe.
That was actually perfect right there from Mihu. One thing to point out is Gypsy's 3rd base is way faster than Mihu's. I can't imagine him building a high ground command center. So I don't even know if he has a command center just yet. Okay, he is actually building a high ground. Maybe he thought mines were laid at the 3rd base and couldn't get it. But I think that the factory count is higher for Mihu right now, like 5 versus 3. So Gypsy could be under threat of being busted. He scans and he sees units moving towards the left side, and he's gonna... I thought he was gonna reposition over there. But this is the problem for Gypsy, is there's a barracks with vision. Well, wait a minute. Mihu's actually going for it.
Yeah, this is...
That's a lot of
I
tanks.
feel like this is what Gypsy wants.
Oh! He got a connection. Yeah. What? Mihu, you saw the tanks. That was a big blunder right there. And he's still going to have I was going to say he still have control over the center, but actually, if you look at his tank count, it's really low. Of course.
Yeah, if Gypsy on Siege had moved, I think he retakes center. Like, if he knew, you know,
yeah,
not that
he
it's
doesn't.
an easy read.
He doesn't know, and he doesn't have a barracks to spot. So, like, for all he knows, you know, there could be like 3 or 4 more tanks sitting there, and he doesn't have vision, and then he loses his whole army. So I think as long as I still feel like he should move up a little bit, because you want to make sure that you can get your 4th base, right? Like, you want to make sure that that doesn't get denied. But at the same time, I guess he is sort of denying the mid-right base. But either way, I think in Gypsy's main, he finally rebuilt his barracks, so the factory count should start ramping up. We've got Mihu moving to the left side. Now remember, those mines on the left side never got cleared out, and in fact, something just cleared a couple of mines.
Yeah, this is, once again, looking like a pretty scary timing here from Mihu. Gypsy rushing to place a few siege tanks in proper position. Oh no, big mine connect, that's a dead tank. And no way, man, suddenly Mihu looking like he's in a strong position.
Yep, he's got high ground now. Terran has to move all of his units from the center, which means now Mihu can control the center. Remember, I was talking about the speed of Mihu. I mean, he's going to probably back off with these units on the left side. Oh, he can't lose the tanks. But at the same time, I think Mihu now, he can just re-secure the bridges, and he'll be in a fantastic position. You can see that Gypsy's down 25 supply now. Mihu's still focusing on the left side. Maybe he does want to bust this, but he doesn't need to. He can just hold the 4th and be fine.
Yeah, he's already got his own 4th cleared completely, you know, has mines in position to scout it, revision, 3rd base up, 20 supply, you know, close to 20 supply as well. So things are starting to lean towards Mihu's favor here, for sure.
There's only 3 factories for Gypsy. The production is really low right now. At this point in the game, you should have it like at least 5, maybe upwards of 7. In fact, that's what Mihu's going for, is 7 right now. Supplies, you know, still, you know, okay in TVT, in the sense, you know, if there's a big mine hit or a big siege hit, you know, so, Mihu or Mihai could definitely catch up, but he's in a world of hurt. I'm surprised that Mihu didn't take advantage of this position by taking a 4th base, and as I say that, there he goes, SCV towards mid-right.
Are you a little surprised that there's no turrets for Mihu? I guess that's pretty standard. Like, well, after scouting drop or whatever.
I guess after scouting drop, it kind of could have been scary, but I think what he was probably thinking was he dealt with the drop so easily that if this guy goes for another, like a Doom drop again, I'm just going to immediately counter him and probably kill him. But look at this, Race coming in, and you know what would have been handy for these Race? Some turrets!
Or that, yeah, that too. Oh, man. And actually, this is a great play here from Gypsy.
Yeah.
It'll, at the very least, delay this 4th base, you know, quite a bit. It's going to really force a reaction here out of Mihu to kind of clear these 4 tanks.
Yep, but with the lack of factory count for Gypsy, look at how skimpy the middle of the map is. It's 3 tanks. If Mihu knew there was 3 tanks, I guarantee you he immediately attacks that center and says, nope, you're not allowed to do that. Not on my watch. And behind this, actually, Gypsy has taken the corner. So we've gotten in this weird scenario where both players are taking the corner. Gypsy needs to fix that going on right there, and it looks like he will mine out that mineral patch. But now he's got up a decent tank count in the center of the map. And legitimately, we may go split map this time, because where can you attack as Mihu? Like, there's a lot of tanks. There's Race. I guess the best place to attack is mid-left, actually. You've got high ground. You've got the barracks to spot also. Scan went off, and he saw the units have moved, but I don't think he saw that they moved to the left side.
Yeah, this is going to be a little scary here for Gypsy. Actually, I mean, units are just not positioned.
Yeah.
This
too
is
late.
Yeah, he's gonna have to. He'd have to move everything right now, and it's not gonna happen. Big attack here coming in from Mihu, not even needing to siege, and Gypsy's 3rd base will fall.
But again, there's no Goliath. I
think there was a couple. They're just trailing behind.
Okay, yeah, they're trailing behind, but this was a massive win for Mihu. He needed this, and yeah, there's not enough Race to deal with the Goliaths. The Goliaths are so strong. They only have +1 weapon, so neither player, I don't think, has +2 just yet. Gypsy still has top right, but we've got a massive supply gap right now. It's 40 supply I'm curious what the follow-up is for Mihu. Like, is it still just factories, or is he got a race switch coming? Is there drop ships?
Yeah, seems to just be factories so far. But yeah, he definitely is now certainly open to start transitioning and, you know, either make that mass wraith, maybe go BC, something like that.
Yeah, I think all you can really do from Gypsy's point of view at this point is go tank Wraith or tank BC. I mean, you can't really go tank BC on 3 bases, but you get my drift. Is like he can't attack anymore. He's gonna actually take this 4th base. That's cute. Ooh, I think. Oh, I thought someone had +2 power spike, but it looks like they. Gypsy just did a big unsiege on the right side. I think he realizes that, hey, if I'm gonna take this 4th base, well then I need to at least have some tanks over here. But Mihu, where is he gonna go with this army? There's so much stuff here, but Gypsy has a lot of tanks moving in position. He needs to siege up though, but there's nothing on the left side.
Yeah, tanks just moving out of position, and here comes Mihu. He's really kind of catching Gypsy out of position here. Big siege coming in from Mihu. There are wraiths looking to follow this up, but not before quite a few tanks have already fallen from Gypsy.
This is still a decent amount of tanks. It's still 5, and Terran or Gypsy can reinforce this position. If Mihu oversteps, which he may have done right now, does a big shot, takes down a couple of tanks. There's still not a lot of Goliaths here.
Yeah, not a ton of Goliaths. Maybe the wraiths, if they just can kind of continue to poke, might be able to start doing something. Gypsy is now mining from both top right and mid right. That ended up being a nice pivot there from a bad situation.
I don't like this unsiege. I feel like he's gonna get hit from multiple angles. Oh, that's because he's coming from the left side also. But there's a lot of tanks on the bridge, man. We're the race. Remember, there's only those 3 Goliaths. That's it. If he can knock those down, actually, Gypsy could deal with this contain. There's only 2 race. Oh, look at this. He lost his tanks on the left side. So yes, Gypsy can't reinforce the right side anymore, but he can retake his 3rd base if he wants.
Which is big, right? He doesn't really need to do anything else. He just wants the additional base. And I mean, with him holding mid-right, he's really not in a bad spot here.
Well, it does get awkward now because Gypsy can't get across the bridges anymore. And he's pulling a Nyoken here. I see a physics lab. He's going into BCs. But the problem with not having control over the center now is how does he save mid-right from just getting blasted by, you know, every unit that Mihu has? He's going into drops. I think that's a smart move. He needs to move some tanks over on the left side because he cannot afford to lose this 3rd base. It was a gift that he was giving it back, but okay, he is moving everything over there. And it looks like he's actually going to BCs because those things are blinking for a long time, those starports. I mean, if he busts this, he's actually back in this game. If he denies his base.
This could be big.
Oh, it's
looks like
dropship.
He is gearing up for it. Yeah, I guess it is dropships.
Just so many tanks and so many Goliaths there. I don't think he can bust it. I think he's going to accept that he can't deny this base and will just take the win that he got this base back. And he does have 4 drops now, so he can start, you know, reinforcing the right side. Are there Goliaths in the center of the map? Looks like there were, which is why the race turned around. But 4 dropships versus 4 dropships. It's all going to come down to who can move their units the best with the drops. Obviously, Mihu has massive advantage having the control over the center, and I think he's about to make a move.
Can't count out the wraiths. If he's able to snipe these dropships, I mean, this could turn the game. And the wraiths are in position.
They are. They sniped one of them.
2.
But there's no tanks behind it, right?
Yeah, you're right. Ah, man. Well, we are getting 5 tanks rallying in here, so he's doing what he can. SCV's being pulled off the line, and actually Mihu kind of forced to retreat here.
Yeah, where is Gypsy's dropships? Because we know he has some, but I don't see any. And what Mihu should do now is he needs to send tanks under the minerals at the 4th base so that he can just pop the SCVs mining those minerals. And there we go. We've got 6 drops loading up. This is enough drops that it could be a massive counterplay. Instead, we have Mihu attacking on the left side. He was just at the right side a minute ago. Where'd all these units come from?
Yeah, and he still has those tanks available in the center as well.
It's a doom drop. He knows the writings on the wall that this game is getting out of control, and it's getting out of control fast. So he's going for the Hail Mary here. He's going to try and take down the third base, but I don't think this is actually the intention. I think his intention is to draw everything over here and then go into the main. There he goes.
Ooh.
The Goliaths are focusing it down. 5 are actually going to get in.
And yeah, turrets not quite positioned still though. Great reaction
There's
from
not enough
Mihu. Yeah, he's got to make it work somehow.
I don't think there's
Dropships
enough
fall.
tanks. Yeah, dropships have died, and now a lot of the Goliaths have died. There's only, what, 4 tanks left over? I guess there's no raise, but the thing is with drops, is you don't really have a lot of vision, whereas obviously Mihu's going to have a lot of vision here. But it's 150 to 140. Gypsy still has his 4th base running at mid-right. He needs to get this army out. Like, he's got drops locked here. How does he get the rest of his... Like, look at his rally point. How does he get this stuff out of his base?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is those dropships, but they're all dead now, unfortunately. Couple left, probably low. And yeah, this is going to be the 4th base of Gypsy falling now. It's just vulnerable. Ah, man, what a close game.
Yeah, this was a good game. This is what happens on Dark Origin. Anybody who controls the bridges controls the game. And you can see why it's so punishing to lose control over that. Mihu's in a spot where he doesn't have to attack. He just denies bases and he'll win the game. Gypsy's desperately trying to get across the map. He's got a lot of tanks and a lot of Goliaths. He also has BCs. Oh, well, did Mihu overstep here? See one tank get blown up. He can't believe it.
And GG is called from Gypsy. Man, another 23-minute TVT there from those two. But Mihu eventually tying up, the series at 1-1. So, man, that was a heartbreaker, man. It was so back and forth, and I'd say the polar opposite of what we saw from game 1. Like, Mihu did have that lead early. The failed 2-tank timing from Gypsy, also losing those couple Marines, just a small thing early on, but Gypsy still managing to pull it back, stabilize the game in a reasonable position. But Mihu, man, Mihu doing Mihu things.
Yeah, those 2 mine hits were really clutch there. The vultures coming from the backside was spot on. He really needed that because I don't think that army could have gotten killed by just vultures and SCVs. And Terran or Gypsy could have just retreated, right? Just retreating is a win because SCVs aren't mining. But either way, it was a good opener. I think the Doom drop was a good idea. Unfortunately, the idea where he brings all the units to the 3rd base backfired because it brought all the Goliaths there, which intercepted the drops. But
Yeah.
either way, it was still a solid game. It was very even for a lot of the time, and even when he was at a deficit, Gypsy recovered, taking the mid-right base, taking the top-right base. He was out expanding. Mihu is on top of it a little bit quicker in that sense. But now, it's going to be Gypsy's pick. And, actually, with the way he's been out expanding Mihu, I could see an Apocalypse pick here. But, if you're winning on Vermeer, maybe I'm thinking, well, 4-player map, I won on that already. Maybe I get Radion, or maybe I go Citadel.
Yeah,
Or
Radion.
maybe I go
Citadel.
Lobotomy.
Lobotomy, just lobotomy, man. What's lobotomy like, TVT? I actually don't even know if I've seen a game on that TVT.
I don't
2-player,
know.
like high ground natural. Yeah, that's gonna be a weird one. Huh.
Nobody's picking Lobotomy. That's a 2-player map. You don't want to play that. But I think you either pick Apocalypse in particular, or we go Radion. I think Radion. I think Citadel is kind of sort of similar to Dark Origin, where if somebody controls the center, you can overlook rally points from high ground. Or is that right? Yeah, from high ground, and that can be kind of hard to recover. Whereas Radion, it's a 4-player map, it's a big map. You don't have to worry about high ground in general. Kind of like, well, not like Vermeer, but I think we're going to see Radion here.
I think you're right. I don't think Gypsy's going to pick Apocalypse for no other reason than, just the vulture counter potential on that map in particular that, Mihu's kind of shown. If there is going to be like another entrance, like, or a way to run around and kind of counterattack with vultures, he's going to look for those opportunities. So Gypsy probably going to try to save himself the headache, I'm guessing.
It very well could be. And what's it gonna be? Oh, I totally forgot about Retro. Okay, well, Retro's also a good map. It's a map with limited resources in the sense, it's not Vermeer where you have 8 million bases. So let's get into Game 3, find out who's going to make it out of first place of this group.
And spawning top left of Retro as the red Terran, we got Gypsy.
And in the bottom right, striking back in Game 2, we do have Mihu. And I wonder if Mihu will be the one that's going to 14cc this game. I think that would be a smart move. I think the likelihood of Gypsy going 14cc is, sort of decently high, but it's more often that it's going to be just a normal opener, and 8 racks I think is 0% chance. So I think 14cc, either you go even versus a 14cc, or you're in a lead versus a normal opener. We'll see what either player opts for.
I want to see the 14cc again, man. Come on, Gypsy. Let's see it. Alright, could you imagine another cross map, 14cc? Like, just the luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nuts.
Looks like Mihu fixed his camera. I thought he had turned it off because he was turning on the afterburners. There is just flaming up on the keyboard and going crazy. Didn't want people to see how crazy he was going. But look at this, Gypsy with the 14cc. Oh, I thought it was a 14cc. So I'm picking up that money, but it is just gonna be 12 gas.
That's fine. Not a big deal, right? I mean, he played a hell of a game off of just the standard opener last game, so shouldn't feel deterred.
And remember, we've been seeing Mihu scout. Okay, there he goes. 13 scout. 13 scout, slightly fast in TVT. A lot of Terran players scout on 14. I think 13 is about as fast as you're really ever going to see. And in fact, there goes the 14 scout from Gypsy. So basically mirrored scout timings overall. Both players most likely going to find each other second. In scout is not a thing in Terran versus Terran. So I don't expect that to happen.
Yeah, gonna scout the third cross map. I don't know. Probably like. I still think we're likely going to see the 3-fact like after command center from both these players. As you've been saying, they seem to want to get pretty aggressive here early on. Seems to be a good call.
Factory coming down. Both players at identical times. Both players have pulled off of gas. Yep, I did see Mihu as only 1 on gas this time. We had seen him have 2 on gas. I guess evaluating, if Gypsy's the type of player that's going to all in him or not. But he sees that Gypsy plays pretty straight up and is just going to play normal here. And SCV does not get in. And again, it is going to be a 2 Marine opener from Gypsy. Only 1 Marine from Mihu. Is that right? I feel like the money is so even that... How is the money so even in only 1 Marine for Mihu?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but Gypsy up 2 supply. I'm pretty sure that's in the Vulture, but there goes the command center. Did he really get in? Okay, he almost got in.
It was close. Does see the command center at least, so he knows exactly what he's up against.
Yep, and Vulture out for Gypsy. And I think Mihu smartened up after the first game. 3 Vultures before add-on, that's a little risky versus somebody that could go just straight up add-on and tank rush you. So that's why you see him going 1 Vulture into add-on. Definitely wants to have the ability to have mines or tank or something, but both players have avoided each other's Vulture, and with the add-on coming down, this could actually do a lot of damage if Gypsy goes in. A lot of times you don't just immediately poke in, but now that he sees the Vulture, maybe that will trigger him to go. There, exactly, he goes, he's going to kill that Vulture too. And I don't think he's going to kill the SCV. Oh, this is going to do a lot of damage. He's going to shut down the Marine. He's going to shut down the SCV building the command center. Mihu's probably like, what the heck? How did that happen? And if he can kill this, oh, he killed it, and can he get away?
And
oh,
gets
this,
away. Oh, maybe
oh,
not.
he's not gonna get away. But if he can damage the vulture, at least keep it back. Oh well, he's not gonna. Oh, it did.
Oh,
how?
Run!
Wow, that is a huge win. Save both vultures.
Brings the other 2 vultures forward just to secure the, saving that vulture as well. So very well done here from Gypsy. Things not looking bad. Like we said, 3 factories out of Gypsy, only 2 so far out of Mihu.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It's Tank Goliath again from Mihu. This is like the safe catch-all build. If you go Vulture, well, Tank Goliath not the worst versus that. If you go, Tank Wraith, of course you're gonna have like an even comp versus that. If the guy goes 2-port Wraith, well, you have a Goliath versus Wraith, so you just win. So this is kind of like a catch-all build. But Vultures are really good versus this because they can lay mines. Yes, they can't necessarily kill the tanks and Goliath, but laying mines gives you map control. You can power really hard off of it. You don't have to get gas at your natural real quick, unlike the tank Goliath player. So Gypsy in a really good spot. Mihu has gotten mine, so he has vision of where the vultures are going to be. But if he has speed and just goes for it, I think he could actually catch Mihu in the middle of this tank Goliath switch.
And I don't think that's speed quite yet, but he's getting very close to this natural. 1 tank already out here from Mihu.
Yeah. With the 1 tank, he's not going to attack anymore. But just sitting here is a threat for Mihu. I think speed did just kick in. I don't know about this move. This seems like a mistake. He's going to try and focus down the vultures because the DPS for the tank is not that strong. Okay, he didn't really lose that much because, it looks like Terran has a lot there with the 3 vultures and a tank, but the tank DPS is really not that strong. So he ends up just poking in, backs off, and if we look at supply, it looks massive, like a massive lead for Gypsy, but the comp is mostly vultures, so you take it with a grain of salt. And again, this is going to be Starport. This is the exact same build as we saw in Vermeer.
Yeah, this is, I don't know, gonna be a little interesting. Like you said, the supply for Gypsy is an advantage, but you gotta keep in mind it's only been vultures really being produced here. His barracks is likely pretty wounded too, so that can end up falling here.
Well,
Mine's... Oh. What is going on here?
That was good focus fire. Takes down... Oh, but it connected! And by the way, the vultures are loaded up in the dropship, so this is a sick timing. And... Okay, it didn't do that much damage, but critically, what Gypsy saw was there was no vultures in there. Now, that's such a minor thing to notice, but if he noticed that, then he knows that the vultures, where could they be? Like, they should be here with the army. So he may suspect that there could be drops. Either way, he forced a full SCV pull, he killed a tank, he did lose a lot of vultures, you definitely can't discredit that. But as long as he doesn't take damage to this drop, it feels like, again, he's in good position. Look at these mines. I can just see it now. All four triggering and killing the whole army. If that happens, it could be like an instant GG. But the vultures are completely out of position. Remember, Mihu has mines. He knows where they are. So because he knows where the vultures are, he can unload at the natural and feel pretty confident that there's nothing there.
Yeah, this dropship is gonna go unscouted. This could be big here.
Oh, tank pops out. But 3 is the number that you need to one-shot the SCV, so this should rack up a lot of damage. Mihu on the move. This is what he wants to do with the drop, is he wants to draw your units out of position and use that to get control. You can see that's exactly what he's done. He's figured out a lot of mines. Gypsy's had to respond by sending all of his vultures back in defense just for 3 vultures.
And a dropship. Yeah, this is really painful to watch, but great call, obviously, from Mihu to utilize this dropship. SCVs are falling, so yeah, this is very annoying, fortunately, for Gypsy.
This was a dangerous move for Mihu, because I don't think he had like 5 scans or something. I think he only had 2, and he's continued to walk across the map with just tanks, by the way. It's not like they're being supported by vultures or Goliath or anything. He did manage to avoid all the mines, because guess what? There weren't any. Look at this. A tank is going to get picked off by... Oh, no, they're not. Ooh. SCV clutched it. What can't an SCV do?
Seriously, man. What can't an SCV do? Oh, man. Here we go, skirmish going on in the center here. Mihu getting in position to pick off one of Gypsy's tanks. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's starting to feel like things are snowballing a little bit here for Mihu.
Yeah, that vulture attack, it didn't do the damage that it was looking for. Yes, it got a tank, but it didn't lay a bunch of mines to prevent reinforcements. And now there's going to be like 6 tanks on the doorstep. And Gypsy right now, he has, a decent amount of tanks. What is it at 4? But if he wants to do something to stall Mihu's pressure, he's got a counter while Mihu's out of position. But the problem is Mihu has this barracks still alive. He just inches forward, picks off another tank, and he's probably going to pick off another one in just a second.
Yeah, this is big. Here we go.
Oh, that one's gone. See you later. Just like that, and that one's gone at the top. See you later.
Vulture's now charging into the natural here, trying to get a mine on top of this siege tank. Not quite able to do so, but has placed his own mines here. So Gypsy's going to have to be very careful controlling these units. And as you stated, those tanks haven't even been touched, man. Oh, but Gypsy, big vulture counter of his own, does scout the unit move out, but actually great reaction time here from Mihu. It's not going to end up doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, and Gypsy needed that to do a lot of damage to get back into this game. This tank contain, yeah, he can't get out. He's got to pull SCVs, but I don't even think this is going to... mine connects and kills 2 vultures, and this could be GG. It's just so many tanks.
Yeah, it really is. Goliath's unfortunately, yeah, not quite doing the damage to the tanks. And man, Mihu just looking so strong. 4 more tanks rallying across the map here. I think, yeah, Mihu's just starting to smell some blood in the water.
This can happen when you're the vulture player. If you don't build your tanks up fast enough, it can just get out of control real quick. And Gypsy's still playing. Oh no, he's not. He's out of there. GG comes out. And Mihu is going to move out in first place. But, those were close games, especially Dark Origin. Game 1 was really quick, really close also. But this one, the vulture connections just weren't there for him. And you can see the power of the tanks when they get in position like that, especially with the racks. The racks is really the key there. You use the rack, you pick... How many tanks do you think you picked off? 4?
4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah, and Mihu only had 6, right? So 6 tanks to get 4 for free? That's crazy.
Yeah, kind of insane, man. And it was just constant. It was while the drops were happening. It goes back to, what you were saying last time you hit him. It felt like, last time you played against Mihu, it's like he's using attacks to set up other attacks. Something is always either a distraction or it's potentially going to kill you, it feels like, with him. So, yeah, very well done, as expected from Mihu. Still, nail biter of a series, man. Gypsy really made him pull out every single trick he had in order to take that series. But yeah, it will be Mihu walking out in first place from this Group A.
Yep, and he looks as good. Looks as good as I remember him to be. And like you said, with that, we're going to be going into a break. And then we'll be back with the bottom side of our bracket, which is going to be JDConan versus Crossy.
Hello
folks.
and welcome back, folks, to BSL18. Yeah. So we got our next match here, going to be the losers match. Obviously, from our two previous matches today, it's going to be a ZVZ JDConan facing off against Cross. But yeah, what's up, Dan? How you think this one's going to go?
I think that this is gonna be pretty close. I think JDConan, like I was saying, I said he plays kind of similar to Crossy in the sense, he does a lot of counterattack stuff in Zerg versus Terran. This is Zerg versus Zerg though, but in general, most players play ZVZ the same. There's not very many players that go crazy, going like Hydras or like 9 pool, 9 hatch, Ling all in or stuff like that. So I expect it to be similar builds. But what I'm most excited about is we've gotten through the tough stuff, which is the Terran versus Terran, the sleep fest. And now we're into the cutthroat matchup, the ZVZ, where the game's only going to be like 5 to 6 minutes long because they're just going to be at each other so much right from the get-go.
You know what's really funny is actually when I think of JDConan ZVZ, I think the opposite.
Oh, what?
He has some bizarre ZVZ, man. Like, I remember a series between him and Zeke, like a couple BSLs ago, where every game was late game, Hive, Drop Tech ZVZ, Devourers, Plague, like lurker ridiculous stuff. So yeah, if you think this one is like guaranteed gonna be some standard Muta versus Muta battle, I think you're wrong. Like JDConan is, I mean, he loves that. He loves that style. Definitely not someone who's afraid to live on Spore Tech, counter with massive Ling units, not even try to keep up in Muta count and just get to those weird, funky positions, ZVZ. On the complete flip side of that coin, Cross is going to go 2 hatch Muta every game and just try to, or 1 hatch Muta or whatever. And he is very much the standard ZVZ player. So it'll be kind of an interesting little cross, between these two. Looks like first map going to be Vermeer. So big, safe, standard. If anything, kind of plays towards that JDConan style of ZVZ here. So yeah, could be interesting. But yeah, with that, folks, obviously anytime we see this, we know both our players are ready to rock and roll. So let's jump into this ZVZ JDConan versus Cross on Vermeer game 1.
Okay, in the top left, we do have JDConan.
And in that bottom left, as the blue Zerg, we got Cross.
Well, if it ends up being an actually long series, I'm okay with that because ZVZ, it's so rare. You get into late game, I would be excited to see that. Also, almost every unit is viable in late game ZVZ. You got Hydras, really good. They deal a lot of damage. Lurkers just shred through everything. Defiler with Plague and Darkstorm, absolutely nuts. Queens with Insnare, amazing. Oh, you can Broodling Ultras? That's somehow balanced in a thing. Devourers,
Yep.
I mean, I guess the only unit that is actually surprisingly not good in ZVZ late game is the Zergling. Like, it just gets melted by everything else. So maybe we can actually get into a late game and see something epic.
Yeah, Guardians maybe. I'd say Guardians also not great ZVZ, but other than that, yeah. It could get weird. I've been myself actually found this bizarre little timing where if you ever get to 3 base ZVZ, you can kind of not go to Hive Tech, get your typical 1 or 2 spores per base with an Evo, start +1 range, and then do a Hydra timing that no one is like ready for. So you just go Muta into Hydra, and I swear it's good. Like you're starting to see pros do it actually. So, but actually, no way. Yeah, actually, Cross does this a lot. It's the one oddball thing he does. He does a lot of hatch first. I've noticed ZVZ. But yeah, this is this is gonna be just like a 9 pool gas opener, so could be a little scary here, actually, for Cross. Looking into it,
think
you know,
this
if
was-
he
Go ahead.
if he loses his hatchery here, is obviously big. That's bad news, Bears.
I think this was an overpool, right? So this is not as fast as a 9 pool speed, and I think there's a big difference, right? Like Crossy should be
There's a
able to
huge
have links
difference.
in time, but he's still gonna have this base under threat big time. The lair is coming in for JDConan. It was not speed first, right? It is.
It's lair
maybe it
first.
was.
I think
Yeah,
it's
lair
lair.
first.
Yeah. Yeah, speed after. I think this is 9 pool, but who knows? He doesn't know where Crossy is, so that's big advantage here for for Cross. Obviously, sees the Overlord coming from bottom right, wisely repositions it to make him think he's not there. Oh, that's funny. Sunken going down, so Cross now doing what he needs to do, and we see JDConan sporadically moving across the map with his Zerglings here. Gonna try to hold this ramp. Has that single ling in the main from JDConan. Wow, got some good shots off, but actually goes down before losing the drone. And so I think he's held.
I don't think this was the damage that JDConan was looking for. He is continuing to build lings, but remember his layer's already done. He's got Spire coming. Crossy is still unaware of what the follow-up is, because a lot of times when you go for pool first, it ends up being speed. Now he shows speed, but not able to get a drone. Oh, another drone actually being built.
Yeah, I mean, with the sunken, it's kind of Cross's advantage is just going to be this eco. Being on 2 bases, ZVZ, more so just like not having to take another base, ZVZ. Like he's already got all the infrastructure he needs to inevitably get to gas. Whereas JDConan kind of has to take a risk here by hoping and praying he can hold this natural, despite seeing so many Zerglings from Cross early on here. Spire down from Cross, though, got a note. It's much delayed and also pulled off of gas completely. He's going Spore. He has to, I guess.
He has to go Spore here. I like this move from JDConan. He's built some more drones. He's taken his Nat, and he doesn't have to build that many mutas right from the get-go. He can just build a couple to control the lings, like you were saying, potential ling flood. And it also forces out spores from Crossy. So he should be able to get his Nat up and running. I don't think Crossy's going to be able to actually recover the gas lead that JDConan already has, even though he has 2 bases. That's a big drone cycle right there. First spore coming down. But in the main, look at that. He only has 4 drones there mining.
Yeah, still though, he's doing the right thing. That drone count is starting to spiral out of control here for Crossy. If you're going Spore, you might as well just completely give up map control, right? Say, you know what, my big advantage is my second hatchery, my second base right now. If I maximize drone production, I will just produce them more efficiently than JDConan. He's already focused himself on having that tech advantage. There's no way you're catching up anytime soon on that mute account. So, yeah, this is a good reaction here from Cross.
Ooh, look at that. That was really good. Instantly picks off 1 Scourge. Actually, there's a lot of lings coming. He's going to try and... I thought he was actually going to try and attack, but it doesn't seem like there's really any opportunity to attack. Crossy is pretty tight here with the drone mining the bottom patch, so it's not vulnerable to the mutas at the top. Oh, okay, yeah, I think that's not going to work out. But the question to me is, how does Crossy recover this mutacab? Like, he's still down 300 gas, by the way. He's down 4 mutas.
No!
What am I watching? Is this JDong here? Is that what the JD stands for?
It might, man. JDConan. Oh, man. Does get 1 muta finally. But, I mean, that's why at these levels you can't just really go Scourge, man. Like, you gotta really start producing those mutas early and often. Because JDConan's just going to continue. Oh, no. Never mind. Well, that was a great trade there for Cross. So that one hurt a little bit.
But he's still down so much gas. You know, when ZVZs get like this, I always start thinking like, there's no way, okay, blue in this scenario. There's no way blue in this scenario can win with mutas. Like, that's just not gonna happen. There's just too much of a gas gap. So it makes me wonder, should he already start considering going Hive? Like, is that our game plan here? Is we camp, maybe get Devourers, maybe we go Hydras or something like that to try and even up the score? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or you just hope that you're trading well with the Scourge. You know, we did just see another Muta fall to 2 more Scourge, so that's always going to be an efficient trade for Crossy here. But yes, the answer can also be get to that Hive tech, get Devourer count out, or, you know, your Defiler Plague. One big Plague will obviously just completely change the game ZVZ here. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's more than just the gas though that's kind of been lacking. Like we're seeing less drones on natural mineral line as well than JDConan. So JDConan kind of just starting to take advantages everywhere. It looks like.
Looks like JDConan thinks he might be getting all in a second, which is why he's put down a sunken colony. But we don't see that at all from Crossy. It's going to be 6 mutas. 6 mutas, 7 mutas, 2 Scourge. How many mutas? Okay, there's 9 mutas I'm talking about, and JDConan still has gas advantage, right? It's like, just how do you recover this muta differential? Is it possible? It's 8 mutas now versus 9. Make that 10, 11 for JDConan. That's a lot of Scourge, though.
That is a lot of Scourge. I mean, Cross just got to hope for some great connections here. Oh, 1 Scourge took out about 6. Yeah, this is exactly the trade JDConan was hoping for.
Yeah, I think JDConan just easily wins this fight. Okay, and yeah, that was a stomp.
Yeah,
Look how many Ryus are left over. It's 7 versus 3. Oh, Ling's in the main. Okay, you got a couple of drones, but I don't think that's enough.
Man. Another big connection. This is going to be complete map control now for JDConan. There's, I don't know. JDConan can feel free to do whatever he wants now. Take a 3rd base, get to Hive Tech if he really wants to. Continue to pick off more and more Muta. Yeah,
Muta control from both sides is really, really good. Like the Scourge, they just don't connect when they're isolated like that. They just never connect. And as I say that, of course they connect, because that's just what happens.
Caster curse, man. Every time. Oh, shoot. Well, yeah, I don't know, man. One thing that can't be counted out, and it's going to sound funny to say, is the power of spores, right? If Crossy can separate himself, Zero point out +1 attack there as well for JDConan. But if Cross can separate his units, get to a position where JDConan does not know where they are, and just go for a counter, that's always a way to win this. That being said, though, that's a lot of Muta.
I think that's also the win condition for Crossy is he's got to just hit the drone line. Wall.
He's lost so many overlords.
Yeah, he's lost so many overlords, and resources are very scarce versus Circo, who's another overlord, but he loses a Muta for it. But it's still an 8 supply lead or 10 supply lead for JDConan, and that doesn't sound like much in general, but when supplies are only 33, 45, 10 supply is a massive difference.
Yeah, ZVZ, every single supply matters. Every single drone is exponential. There's no other matchup quite like it.
He's doing so much damage, he splashed a Scourge to death.
Yeah, that's the bonus of +1 attack. It took me forever to realize why Zergs go +1 attack on air over armor, and that's exactly it. It's the splash to kill additional Scourges, and things like that. It just does a lot more damage.
Neither player's put down a 3rd high. There's another connection, but there's still so many Mutas. But if JDConan thinks he's in a good spot and makes this attack, I mean, he may be in for a world of hurt because, yes, he has the Muta advantage, but 4s are pretty insane. I don't think he's got enough to... Okay, well, I guess if he uses the Scourge as a barrier, he can. Yep. He can take down this 4, and now the main is completely wide open, and Crossy at this point, he's got to fight, but he's just down way too much, and JDConan should be on the brink of taking game 1.
Yeah, nice Ling run by into the main here is just forcing that chaos. GG is called from Crossy, and JDConan taking a very solid game number 1 there.
Yeah, that was really good. Muta control was good. I think that Crossy did what he needed to do, which was go spores, but the gas gap was just massive, man. It was, if we could look at the replay, I gotta imagine it's at least like 800 gas. At least. There was just so much, so long of a time that the drones in the main weren't mining for Crossy, is it just kept looking like, every time I looked at him, like, dude, he can't recover this. He cannot recover this. Which is why I really thought we were going to go into Hive, but I guess Crossy thought he was going to connect those Scourge, but they just didn't, really.
Yeah, I mean, he got a couple connections, but not for the amount of gas he traded into it. Like, also, it was off of a 12 hatch. I'm surprised that the economy wasn't a little stronger, just given the opening there for Crossy, but it just didn't seem to really play out to any kind of an advantage, despite an incredible hold early on. So yeah, you know, we'll have to see how Cross chooses to like open from here. It is going to be, fortunately, his map choice, so he might change things up, go for a 2-player map, ZVZ, try to keep things a little more standard. I found it kind of ironic that JDConan did just open straight to like 1 hatch into 2 hatch Muta, and
Yeah.
I mean executed it so well there against Cross. Maybe there's no need to get fancy with it when you're that good.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see Dark Origin again. I mean, if you're gonna pick it versus the Terran, why wouldn't you pick it in Zerg versus Zerg? Like you said, it reduces variance. You know where your opponent is. You can scout immediately. I could also see Apocalypse picked. You know, maybe you get lucky, but if you're unlucky and the other opposing player does get a lucky scout, well, then you're in big time trouble. But
yeah, that's always the worst about 3-player maps,
yeah.
ZVZ. Like that first Overlord scout's huge if you can get away with it.
And out of all the matchups, like ZVZ is the biggest, the most important. Like Terran versus Terran, unless you're scouting a BBS, I mean, I don't even care. Like, or a 14cc, you can deal with 14cc also. So it's like you either scout BBS and you mega hard counter it, or you don't really care what you're seeing. So I was gonna say it looked like Gypsy may have poked the bear with JDConan, because JDConan, completely different player from his series versus Gypsy. He looks really strong in ZVZ. You know, you were saying he had a specific style, but he just played straight up here, man. And his Muta control was impressive. Like, I'm rewatching the video right now on my stream of him picking off those Scourge, the turnaround shot where he bounced some shots and killed an additional Scourge.
And I mean, from the start, the first larva of Scourge that hatched, the one Scourge was immediately eliminated. Like, he was just all over it with his positioning, creating those big opportunities to take advantages. So very well done there. And yeah, as you called it, man, looks like map 2 going to end up being Neo Dark Origin. I'm also of the mindset, I've started just like ZVZ. There's like almost no reason not to just pick a 2-player map sometimes. Like, there's just no secrets. Like, if you think you're just gonna be the better player and you're gonna outplay, like, there's nothing to hide, really. Yeah. Sure, you can definitely get away with build order advantages. That's always going to be the case, but at least you're able to scout it and recognize it quickly in a 2-player map scenario. So yeah, Neo Dark Origin, a map both these players are going to be very familiar with, going to have played, countless amount of games on. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward as far as ZVZ goes. So yeah, I think a decent choice here from Cross.
Now, in ASL, not necessarily this ASL, but previous ASLs, we've seen some crazy builds on 2-player maps. What was the Invader. We had a ZVZ game. What was it? Sulky versus Hero. There was an in-base hatch in Sulky's base. I think in Sulky's base. So, also 2-player maps can lead to something crazy like that. But we are ready, so let's get into game 2. Okay, in the top left up 1-0. We've got JDConan.
And in the bottom right, looking to make that comeback, it is Cross.
Wonder if Crossy will 12 hatch again.
Nah, that is not something I don't think so. Who knows? Maybe he could. Maybe he could, but I think I maybe think about it differently than most. But it feels like such a risk to get away with a 12 hatch ZVZ, especially when 9 pool is so preferable. If you're ZVZing versus Zeke, good luck getting away with a 12 hatch. Like, he'll 9 pool 80% of the time, and it doesn't matter what you do. He just knows how to play out of it. So it feels very scary, especially on a 2-player map, to try to get away with something like a 12 hatch. But that being said, you know, some players, and I have to say, Cross has a tendency to 12 hatch quite a bit.
Well, machine.
So
who's going 9 pool?
yeah, that's gonna be JDConan here once again. Good 9 pool call.
You see a pool in Crossy's main? Oh, there actually is a pool in Crossy's main. I was not expecting that. It's a 12 pool.
Great call. I mean, there, no question. 12 pool is advantage in versus 9 pool. It's this 9 pool pressure won't be able to do anything here from JDConan, as long as obviously Cross, you know, saves the appropriate amount of larva, makes the appropriate amount of zerglings. So good read, good adjustment here, game 2 from Cross.
Yeah, this, you know, as a non-Zerg player, but did play Zerg in the past, this, I remember being, at least in the olden days, massive build order win for JDConan, or not JDConan, for Crossy here. He's going to have his hatch up. He's only going to be down about 100 gas, and he's going to have more larva available. He's going to probably have an even, you know, ling count, and he's obviously going to have better eco. So he can recover that 100 gas differential quite easily. Also, by the way, JDConan has pulled 1 off of gas, so you also got to consider that.
Yeah, this is pretty standard. This is 9 pool layer. You pull in 1 off gas just because mineral income is so important at this stage still. There's going to be a little bit of a yin-yang, like JDConan obviously with map control here early on with the initial 6 lings. Cross might be forced to pull a few drones here even, if this gets too uneven. Where's the 6th ling? There it is. That felt weird for some reason, but yeah, you know, obviously JDConan going to have the faster layer, so it's a rush for him to get to that Spire Tech, get mutas on the field. Meanwhile, Cross's big advantage going to be the additional larva. Wow, no Overlord and 17. This is yeah, it's a little delayed there from Cross. But yeah, Cross going to have a counter pressure timing with ling speed at some point. So JDConan going to be forced to pull back off the map, hold his ramp, probably put down a sunken inside the main here shortly.
Crossy definitely has the potential to ling flood. Whoa, JDConan's going to take his natural? I don't... What? You can't do that, can you? Like, how's he going to hold a ling flood? The Spire isn't even that far behind. But actually, Crossy is droning.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if Crossy drones, but still, this is a surprising read. Also, no reason to keep the Overlord in the main past this. There is additional Zerglings, so Cross might be pressuring here shortly. And realize he's got a, you know, larva advantage, right? You want to use that. So things could get scary for JDConan here. We're even seeing JDConan retreat to... I thought he was going to hold his ramp, but I guess not.
I thought he was going to hold his ramp also, but Crossy, if he knows about this base, or even has a thought that this could be a thing, he could move out right now and cancel it. Instead, he has not moved out, and the Overlord sees that the lings have not moved out. That means that JDConan does not have to build additional lings. He can just go mutas himself. He is, you know, pretty okay in terms of econ. There's no additional gas for Crossy at the natural just yet, so still up gas overall, but Crossy's going to have his mutas coming out in the field pretty soon also, and, you know, I wonder if he'll build Scourge this time. Mutas take a decent amount of time to build. But instead, I think he did just spend all of his money on Mutalisk.
Yeah, which I think is usually the better call anyway. JDConan moving out with the first 2 mutas, trying to hunt for overlords. There's nothing. He's not able to find that one on the mid left. That's kind of a big deal here. And Cross going to scout the natural here as well. And remember that was 5 mutas in production, so Cross going to be caught up on mutas here almost instantly.
I think Crossy is probably surprised to see that the natural was already done. We've got both players with pretty much an even army value. 4 mutas, 2 Scourge. I think Crossy has 1 additional Scourge, but the mutas are connecting in favor of JDConan right now. Can any of the Scourge connect? If any of the Scourge... Oh, okay, one connected, and Crossy is going to be a massive swing in his favor. However, JDConan has whittled down the muta count to just 2.
It's the Scourge are just trading too well, man. Oh, okay. JDConan, though, staying on top of it and actually going to turn the fight. Wow.
He's going to get both of them.
Yeah, that's a big advantage.
Wow, he got both. And his natural... Okay, now he's definitely down in gas versus Crossy now. But he's kept 3 mutas alive. He didn't build as many Scourge. Is JDConan in another lead? It's very slight here, 33 supply to 32.
It's very slight, but I think you're right. I think he's got just a slight lead. Does have less Zerglings, so maybe Cross might be able to make some kind of an opportunity with the Ling advantage work, but even then, very slight. Still, Cross also looks to have a slight drone advantage. It's hard to tell, actually. Yeah, it looks like... Never mind.
It's like 10 drones versus... it's pretty even. You know, 10 versus 10.
Yeah, it's even. Okay.
Actually, it's not even. I don't know. It's close.
It's
way,
very close. It's off by a drone, I think. Yeah.
Yes, supplies are 42 to 40. Scourge pokes in, sees that it's just pure mutas. I think Crossy is probably wisened up after game 1. Like, there's no point to build Scourge versus this guy because they're not going to connect anyways. So smartly, he's just building mass mutas. I wonder if anybody has researched a muta upgrade. I'm going to guess that no for both sides, because 150 gas for armor is quite an investment. 100 gas, maybe not the biggest investment, but Crossy has been attacking so often that that upgrade may not kick in by the time a key fight happens. But here we go again, another Crossy attack. There's a massive muta advantage for JDConan right now. How many of these Scourge can connect? The answer is none have connected so far, and he got rid of all the Scourge.
Yeah, that was still very close. I think multiple of JDConan's Scourge connected on singular Scourge there, so JDConan made it.
This may be... They miss... Oh, could have been a misstep, maybe. It's 8 versus 7, but 3 of them are heavily damaged. There goes one of them. Goodbye. Another one gone. Ooh, but the reinforce... Oh, one of the Scourge connected, and that could have been the connection that he needed. Now, JDConan's on the back foot. I don't think he has enough. Scourge, can they save the day? The answer is... desperately try. Oh, he got 2.
No way he got 2 there. And those are 2 very weak mutas remaining. Oh, I think he needed to fight for that Overlord, maybe. Who knows?
So
more Scourge coming in here. And it looks like JDConan going for it. Does get on the trailing muta. This is annoying. It's going to keep splashing those weak mutas. Kills 3 mutas with the splash. That was nuts.
That is crazy. Oh, Crossy doesn't even have speed on his links. So he's going for a counterattack, but it gets immediately spotted. And again, just like in game 1, these Scourge are just going to body block for the mutas. Oh, another connection. He kills a muta. Crossy, he's now down in supply.
Yeah, using those Scourge, once again, just to kind of body block. It's Ogres or ZVZ, man.
Those links are not going to do any damage. It's 6. Oh, there's so many Scourge. There's not as many mutas for Crossy either, but those mutas are damaged. Oh, that was a good engagement.
Those good connections. Those Scourge. 2 more Scourge coming in for Crossy. It's all down to this, it looks like. Ooh.
Neither player can get the moving shot off.
Oh, now's the counter link timing, and there's no links remaining here. for Crossy. So, I mean, even just if the Lings kill 1 or 2 drones, it's a big win here for JDConan. So, yeah.
Wow, I can't believe that JDConan's going to win 2-0. That's it.
Dang, that is it. GG being called for Cross there, despite, I want to say just a build order advantage, that 12 pool versus 9 pool early on. Yeah, ends up kind of securing another big win due to his control. So very well done there from JDConan.
Control was really good, man. You could tell that it was going to be good after the Vermeer game. Like, really tight control, sniping the Scourge. I think Crossy had chances there. The muted battles were really close, but I'm surprised that Crossy's actually going to be the first one eliminated. I thought, JDConan was going to be kind of the lower tier player, but he's proving his worth. Last round he beat Terror. Now he's beating Crossy. These are players that go pretty far in the tournament in general. And now we get the rematch, man. JDConan got thrown off of his game earlier versus Gypsy. I wonder if he's going to be able to recover from that. He looked very good versus Crossy, but ZVT's completely different than ZVZ.
Yeah, completely different, but still, I mean, a big win is a big win. Hopefully he's able to ride that momentum and make some adjustments from the earlier series today. That being said, you gotta say, man, Big Gypsy definitely looking very strong today as well. Already, winning the initial series versus JDConan 2-0, and I mean, even taking a game and creating some very close games versus Mihu in their earlier series today. So, yeah, obviously, Gypsy playing in some very strong form here. Map 1 going to be Retro. I think a lot of Terrans really tend to pick that map in this matchup. So that's got to be a nice little bonus going into this game here, game 1.
Retro is really bad for Zerg. I don't know what the map statistics are, but just in theory, Retro is really bad because 3 positions are completely wallable as Terran. Only bottom right has a slight hole, and any map that has that many walls, oh man, 8 racks is a potential opener, and that means that Zerg has to respect it, has to go pool first a decent amount of the time. If Terran just plays a normal game, well, you're just playing from a deficit, and the fact that Gypsy has already shown 8 racks makes it an even more dangerous map. So JDConan, he's going to have to get his spidey senses tingling to figure out what the opener is going to be from Gypsy, because if he guesses wrong, it's not going to be easy recovering versus someone like Gypsy from a deficit.
Yeah, definitely not, man. I mean, he doesn't really allow those openings. It feels like all of his matchups are so buttoned up, but for sure, his Zerg versus Terran as well just knows how to constantly apply that pressure. Read, scout, is not afraid to change up his build order, and I mean, he's just a nightmare to deal with, ZVT.
Yeah, really tough player. He can play a bunch of different styles. He can play Valkyrie, can play 1-1-1. He's one of the few players that I would feel comfortable watching someone play 1-1-1. You also got to consider that, especially now that Mihu showed that that's a potential opener.
Yeah, of course. Man, I'm telling you, Mihu's got an incredible 1-1-1 transition. It's, I mean, obviously, we got to witness it. It goes without saying, but if I ever had to play him, I think it's like a nightmare scenario to deal with.
1-1-1's definitely a really good build. I'm surprised that it's not in the meta these days, because every time I see it, I mean, at worst, if you're walling, at worst, I mean, what happens? Like, you just don't harass as well as you possibly could have. But with a wall, you're not going to get all in and die. And Retro does allow for stuff like that. I can tell you this, though. It is not going to be 1 racks, no scout, command center, 1 marine, 2nd racks. Still didn't scout anything. Straight academy. Like, that's not going to happen. I don't think Gypsy's that risky versus someone like JDConan.
No, definitely not. If anything, I'm expecting the opposite read, right? Like, we saw that 8 racks out of Gypsy game 1, and it was obvious. I mean, it was a big threat. It threw JDConan off. You got that in the back pocket if you're Gypsy, but also, I mean, obviously the mind games, right? That was exactly how Gypsy started game 1 in the last series. Do you expect him to do the same thing here? Who knows? Either way, you got to be prepared for it if you're JDConan.
Yep, you do. Well, regardless of who wins or loses here, what map do you think JDConan would want going into game 2? Like, he picked Dark Origin, didn't he? Did he pick that?
I think that was Crossy.
Oh yeah, he picked Citadel. So now that Gypsy's gonna know like this guy wants to play a big map, do you just veto Citadel? Well, then that leaves Vermeer. Yeah. So I don't know how many big maps you can veto, right? You can also pick Radion or Vermeer, right? There's too many 4-player options.
You veto one of them. The one thing I would say is, I personally, if I'm Terran, I'm not vetoing Citadel just due to comparing the ramps leading to the mains of all of the big 4-player maps, right? And Citadel has that unique double egg, like high ground, low ground, or low ground, high ground, low ground. I think that's a little easier to break as opposed to just a standard, ramp into the main like this retro, like Vermeer or something like that. But that's just my thoughts. With this, folks, both our players are set. So let's go ahead and jump into our losers final of the day. Game 1, Gypsy versus JDConan on Retro. And spawning top right of Retro as the blue Zerg, it is JDConan.
Yep, and in the bottom right, we do have Gypsy, and this is the one spawn that I was talking about where you cannot full wall. There's a slight gap. A lot of Terran players don't care about that, but any position that can be completely walled, where I don't even have to build any Marines, is ideal. But because he did get this position, chances of 8 racks are slightly down, and there it is. Depot actually in his main didn't go for the slight wall, at least not just yet.
I wonder what JDConan's saying to himself. I almost wish we had him mic'd up, man. He's just hyping himself up. Like, they don't know me, son. They don't know me, son. I'm getting abused. I'm running him over this game. Try to 8 racks me. Try. Come on.
Yeah, he's prepared for it. He's gone like a 7 pool or something. Bring it, Gypsy. But okay, he's definitely not doing that. He's shaking his shoulders a little bit too much for that.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know, man. We're already getting the head shake. Nothing's happened.
Yeah. Oh, is this 14cc? Dude, this is crazy.
Dude, the caster curse. You gotta be kidding me. The one thing you said, you're like, absolutely no way Gypsy would ever, and not scout, and of course, Gypsy's like, you know what, Nyoken, just to prove you wrong, I'm going 14cc here, and it's the right call.
Yeah, it ends up not being a pool first build. What is surprising is it's 14cc, and it's the one position that cannot be full walled. It's like, why out of all the spots you can spawn, you don't do it on the full wall? But not gonna get punished. I was trying to see if that Overlord was coming to bottom right, but it's actually the drone. So the drone is gonna scout it, somewhat quickly. But I can tell you, JDConan is not happy about this. In his main, it is the standard 2-minute pool, 2-minute gas.
Yeah, as a Zerg, I mean, what do you do, right? Like, it's not like make Zerglings and pressure is really the answer. Like, sure, you're going to make your 4-lings or whatever, and it might be annoying for a second. Good drone pressure, I'll say that. He might be able to get an SCV here.
Oh, it missed.
Yeah,
did it miss?
He shot the other SCV.
Okay, well, this drone has already done a lot of damage because it's disrupted the rack's timing. If JDConan was to, like, build 8-lings and go, maybe it could get here in time and do a lot of damage. But unfortunately,
I gotta say, this is really good drone control.
It is. Based on the first game with the muta control, you knew it was going to be good. It doesn't seem like JDConan has actually built lings Yeah, he's just droned up instead. I think that's a smart move there. The chances
Yeah.
of like a 6-link, 8-link attack working is very small, especially since he got scouted first.
Yeah, slim to none. Big Gyp getting the scout off in the main as well. We'll see its lair. We'll see it's nothing but drones. But still, getting away with that 14 CC's got to be feeling good here.
And SCV spots everything. He sees that there's no Hydra Den, nothing wild going on. Doesn't confirm a third hatchery in the main. And I think a third hatch could be coming down in the main, like around now. The fact that there's no third hatch now probably is signaling to him that there could be a third hatch out on the map. And look at this, the SCV even sees the drone.
Yeah, he should know that is possible. But yeah, he'll see drone actually just starts hunting towards the drone with the SCV. Wants to see, you know, if and when and where a hatchery might go down. Oh, nice, cute little trap though from JDConan, paying attention. And yeah, that drone gonna make its way towards top left main.
Now this is a common follow-up to 14cc because you have a low unit count in the beginning, obviously. You rush into fast 2 racks with Academy, and you get out onto the map with a marine count that's pretty good, plus obviously incredible econ. And the fact that he saw the drone go to the top left side means he only needs to scan, really 2 spots. The top left main and the top left natural, and if it's not there, well, it's got to be top middle. So he should be able to walk over there and kill it, but maybe not. The Spire is almost done.
Yeah, gotta say, I always prefer taking the other mains, so I like the positioning here and the choice from JDConan to take that other main. As long as he makes it through mid-game, he's putting himself into a position to have a strong late game.
Sunken's coming down.
Only one so far, though. Gypsy really moving out quickly. Ling counter, though. Picks off at least a single SCV. Firebat in the main, though. Going to try to handle this while Gypsy pushing towards JDConan's natural.
This is an annoying move for Terran to deal with. It's a stem, but I think the Sunken's going to be in time. Maybe not, actually.
Yeah, drone's being pulled here, and just the drone kills already. This has paid for itself. Second Sunken does come online, but medics make it in time now. I think he kills the Sunken, right?
Yeah, he's going to kill everything. He may not kill it now that the mutas are here, but this was a lot of damage. He killed, what, like 5 drones? Make that 6, maybe 7. Okay, he ends up losing his whole army, but he killed so many drones, and now JDConan, he's got to do something with these mutas, like immediately. He needs to immediately counter. I don't think there are turrets set up just yet. Okay, now they're completing, so never mind, I take that back. And if you're JDConan in this position, what do you do? Do you try and drone up, try to recover? Do you all-in muta? There's also a Firebat being sent across the map. Remember, he knows where the hatch is. Oh, it got intercepted. That was good intel from JDConan. Firebat being sent out is a common move from Terran. And you definitely don't want to have to deal with a stem Firebat at your third base while your mutas are completely across the map.
And there's another Firebat moving out towards that top left location, so still Gypsy put himself in a position to be pretty annoying here. 7 mutas from JDConan, so now's his go time. He's got to get something done. Oh, he's found the pocket, man.
Yeah, this is really good. There's the sweet spot right there, but it is 4 racks, and because Gypsy dealt so much damage, he can sack some SCVs and still be okay. But this is exactly what JDConan was looking for. That Firebat, he's so ballsy. He's just walking straight over the Overlord into the natural. He does stem for it, but he's not long for this world. See you later.
Yeah, it does end up falling, but still, it's annoying. It made JDConan react there. Top left's starting to build up a drone count, and natural saturation looks all right too. So a little bit of a recovery here from JDConan.
The Marine Ball is, what, 1 group right now? He really needs to get like a 2nd group. That's when it really gets scary for Zerg. 8 mutas, this is enough to fend off this army for now, or at least buy time. JDConan has recovered his econ quite decently at top left. He also has his hydrogen built there. If Gypsy scans and thinks that Zerg's all in, and they're actually not, that could come back to bite. Gypsy, oh, see you, Marine.
Oh no, this is...
Oh no.
Oof, wasted some medic energy though.
Well,
yeah, this is this is a little bit of a recovery from JDConan. We're seeing he's stacking quite a bit of gas though. That's just the mineral count suffering earlier on, unfortunately. But yeah.
There's the Hydras. Lurker's gonna be out on the field pretty soon. He still keeps scanning. He still hasn't scanned top left at all, man. Like, he doesn't know that there's a base there. I think he may have just barely gotten a glimpse of the Hydras. Oh man, these mutas need to buy time, but that is not the way to buy time. He's been scanned consistently, so Gypsy knows that there's no Sunkens. If the Marine Ball just goes for it, probably just wins the game here.
Yeah. I mean, there we go. Lurker morph just started, but that's not going to be enough time. Gypsy's already almost outside JDConan's natural. Sunken coming in. We're seeing a stim go down. And at least, I mean, that was nice. Picked off a couple Marines. It does stall this timing.
He had to make this move. If he doesn't make this move, the Lurkers don't complete, and the game's over, legitimately. But by making this move, the Lurkers get up in time. And as long as there's a burrow, no, he can't bust this. He doesn't have armor.
Oh, Lurker's not able to save the Sunken, so that's nice. It's very good for Gypsy to be able to recognize that. Does see the drone transfer, so he's got to know there's another base somewhere. And there we go. I think that was a scan top left. So.
Well, now this can be busted. This is a lot of stuff. This is like 2.5 groups. Oh, but will he feel confident? If this botches, it's his whole lead down the drain. So he's going to engage. Well, that's what JDConan needed to get back in this game. He's going to hold. And remember, he does have the third base. It's not like Gypsy's, out of it, because he's still been crushing his build. This was still a 14cc opener. He's got vessels coming, but this was definitely going to buy JDConan some time to recover.
Yeah. I mean, he just did exactly what he had to do to live there. It is only a solo Lurker, I'll say that much. So things, not out of scary territory here yet for JDConan, but he seems to be hanging on here. Good game. He's gonna just... Oh, I thought he was gonna focus the Lurker. Shoot. Good.
Yeah, if he had gotten it, it probably would have ended, because there's no DPS here. There's 2 Sunkens and 4 mutas that are hurt.
Oh man. Sunken doing a good job, just kind of disrupting. There we go. Good splitting once again from Gypsy. That solo Lurker does get focused down, and now JDConan trying to target down individual Marines here. Oh, 2 Lurkers do survive. Oh man, Gypsy just so strong.
It's got like his
drones coming in.
This natural, man.
Yeah. Another Lurker does fall, and I mean, without any additional Lurkers, there's just going to be no way to hold this natural in main. All right. Gypsy off to a 1-0 lead there. Still looking very, very strong today against JDConan. JDConan, though, I gotta say, anytime you open up 12 hatch versus 14cc, it's a feels bad man moment, so he's gonna have to change something up at this point.
I think he's got a overpull or 9-pull, man. I think 8 racks could be the opener from Gypsy, and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, I think 14cc is not gonna happen. So I think it's 8 racks and then 9-pull or overpull and 8 racks, and you're in a good position. If he opens normal, maybe you go for a slightly faster layer than usual, like, I don't know, 145 gas, is that a thing? But something faster where maybe you can slip mutas in before turrets are up or in a good position and rack up kills and recover that way. But something, like you said, something's got to change, because anytime it's been a standard game, Gypsy's just dictated the flow of the game, basically the entire game.
Yeah. I mean, and he's not like, he's already shown like he's willing to take these small risks, right? We've seen the 8 racks opener. We saw, obviously CC for his last game. Like, he's clearly playing comfortable, and JDConan's just got to do something to disrupt that, or game 4 is going to go much the same.
Or maybe if you're gonna go 12 hatch, you go 3 hatch as a follow-up.
Sure.
Like I don't think that's gonna be any better. Like, just because of my own experience as a Terran, I prefer playing versus 3 hatch. But at least it's different, right? At least maybe this guy doesn't open 2 racks versus you. Maybe you can get big econ, you can go crazy Zerg, and then you can win off of that. I don't know, just something different. And I think we do have the map in just a moment, and the map is going to be Vermeer. Now this is a good Zerg map. Well,
absolutely, way better than Retro, for sure.
Yeah, as I say that though, look at the stats, 56% win rate for Terran. I think in general, most maps are favored for Terran, but definitely like this one more because 8 racks, definitely not as strong. You don't really have to consider it as much. Of course, 8 racks is viable on all maps, but any map that can beat Wall is just ridiculous how strong it is.
Those ramps for in the center are also great for Zerg to once you get lurker count mid game, if you get any kind of an advantage, kind of help split up the map, make it tough for Terran to move around. So pretty good as well. I'd say Vermeer's a much better map for this situation here.
And I'm just looking at the Discord chat, or not the Discord chat, the stream chat. They're getting a review, or they're at the moment where Marines are busting the Sunken and the Lurker, and I just see T1 spamming. Is it Lim? Is it Boxer?
Bust time, yeah. Oh man, too true, man. Limio won. But yeah, Vermeer gonna be it's gonna be a fun one here. I think this is a great choice for JDConan. Either way, something's clear. Like, as much as I don't like Overpool ZVT, I think it's it significantly stifles Zerg eco, and you're kind of forcing yourself to be in a position where you gotta try to do some damage early with your Zerglings. It might be the call here. If he catches Gypsy with something like an 8 racks, it could be a good, quick way to pull a win and tie up the series and give himself, one game away from possibly making it out of this group.
Indeed, and I think our players are ready. So let's get into potentially the final game of the day. It's JDConan facing off versus Gypsy. He needs to win here, otherwise he's eliminated. So in the top left, we do have our Zerg. It is JDConan.
And in the bottom left, we have our Terran player, Big Gypsy.
Big Gypsy. And we got vertical spawns here. That means that the Overlord is not going to be in position over that ledge to check for Marine move-outs, at least not for a long time. This Zerg has been hiding hatcheries as their 3rd hatch. If Terran can sneak out 3-4 Marines that go undetected, that can rack up a lot of damage. And as Zero mentioned, we are looking for donations to support BSL Season 19. If you are enjoying the BSL, definitely consider making a donation or becoming a Patreon supporter. Remember, I said earlier, $10 or above Patreon support, get all the replays from BSL, which is fantastic. You want to know how Mihu just owns these Zerg players so easily? Become a supporter and get that replay.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's really just such a tool if you're looking to improve your gameplay. Nothing's better than, just literally taking it from the source. And there we go, Nyoken. I think that's a 9 pool.
That is a 9 pool. And actually, from my experience watching some games, for whatever reason, bottom left seems to be the most common 8 racks position. Gypsy got it, but it's not an 8 racks. And this is a pretty solid wall, what I call the ample wall. There's a depot gap, and of course there's a gap between the eggs. And JDConan I think his idea was correct here. He needed to go pool first and needed to mix it up. But unfortunately, now he's playing from a build order deficit. And there's no hatchery at the natural. He's now going to have like a late gas, most likely, like a 230 gas. And if he doesn't have a 230 gas, then he's just going to be basically all in on 2 bases. So this is really rough.
Gypsy going to end up scouting the wrong way, though, with that SCV. So it could get hairy. He's going to have to truly react pretty quickly once he sees these initial Zerglings. And also not get greedy with his marine production here early on.
Drone sees, or is going to know know where Gypsy is, and Gypsy doesn't know that this is a 9 pool. If the Lings can go towards the center and loop around, a lot of Terran players just build 1 Marine, then build a command center. Sometimes they build 2. Either way, 2 Marines don't beat 6 Lings, but unfortunately, he just intercepts the SCV. However, Gypsy's got to scramble to get into position. There's nothing here.
He is, though, pulls the Marine back, immediately pulls 3 SCVs from the main, has the retreating SCV from his earlier scout, and he is in position to hold this.
And this is what I was talking about, the optimizations. The 2 Marines are already done. The Rax is slightly faster than usual. Now he has 3 Marines, and you ain't doing jack squat to this. And now, JDConan's going to have to try and play a low econ 2-hatch build. Got no damage done. I guess he did force off 4 SCVs, but his lair's much later also. Terran now can do that 5 Marine pressure build, force out a Sunken, force out more Lings. JDConan's in a really, really bad spot.
Yeah, there's no way to... I mean, this is why Zergs are so hesitant to open pool first, right? Like, how often do you see this scenario? Like, pretty often, whenever you see a 9 pool. It just walling off his Terran is very, very strong. And as I said, you're almost obligated, really, to get some kind of damage done. That being said, there is an opening. I can't believe Gypsy allowed this. This is... Oh, man. 4 Zerglings are going to make it into the main. Sure, you can say this is bait, but they've already killed a Marine. They're going to force some SCV pulls here. So, well done from JDConan.
Gets an SCV. I mean, this is all you can really ask for. Oh, there's a depot, so he's not retreating. See ya. That means that the Lings are going to trade their lives for 1 Marine and an SCV. But I would say that's worth, because he wasn't going to get any damage done with these Lings at all. So you might as well get something, and you might as well get it in the early stages of the game, where the losses are actually impactful. But now he has lost vision, and guess what? The SCV is still there. He still sees that, dude, you're just droning. You don't have anything. These 6 Marines, if they get here quick enough, could end the game.
Yeah, it's going to be close, but I don't even think he should risk it. Not against the Sunken this early. Oh, we'll make the Sunken. Okay. Yeah, there's I don't know. It's not going to quite be enough, I think. Oh, I say that, and the Zergling died to the SCV linebacker. Yeah, this Sunken's going to get up either way, but this is quite annoying for JDConan.
He does survive, though. His Spire is halfway done. Academy is not done yet. Zim is not even started. Meanwhile, Gypsy has gotten his natural up and running, and JDConan has gotten his nat gas up and running. His drone count, it's low. There's no way around that, but it's decent. It's okay, I think, for how the game has flowed. It's okay. Now, Gypsy does need to be careful. Yes, he has high ground, but if this is like a Ling flood, which I don't expect it to be, but if it is, Lings can easily overrun Marines that are this far forward.
JDConan did not want to make... He didn't want to have to make those Lings right there, but he was just afraid a bust could possibly happen, right? It's only a solo Sunken, but this hurts. Those are 3 not Muta, 3 not drones, you know?
And Gypsy seeing that now knows, like, dude, your econ's even worse now. I'm surprised that Gypsy's out on the map with no medic, but there's the medic. And if these Lings don't keep trying to engage this army, the natural's under threat. If there's stim here, even though it's 1 medic, this game could be over.
Yeah, here we go. Stim goes down. Zerglings are flanking. Drones being pulled from the line. Good splitting from Gypsy, though. Does actually focus a number of drones and the Sunken simultaneously. but JDConan does have the 5 mutas needed to hold this.
There's 2 mutas that are very low. He got one of them, does not get the second one. And JDConan, he definitely lost a lot there. Ends up holding though, lost all of his lings, lost 1 muta. I think he lost like 4 drones maybe, something along those lines. Turrets are coming up, bunker coming up. Gypsy knows that he's in an amazing spot now. As long as he doesn't take crippling damage to the muta harass, this is his game to take. But his marine count is quite low. JDConan, he could maybe, no he can't. There's only 4 mutas.
Yeah, and the 3 marines. He's got that bunker up just in time as well. Turrets are positioned. I mean, Gypsy just doing what he needs to do to hold his advantage.
Yep, and Gypsy, he's going 3 racks as a follow-up. He could go 4 racks if he wants, really, crush Zerg's eco, force them to build units nonstop. He could also go factory, which is the most common in my experience. Oh, actually, he's already gotten 4 racks. I didn't realize one of them's already floating.
It looks like JDConan wants to commit here. We're seeing more Zerglings being produced, more mutas being produced. There's no 3rd base on the way. Not seeing any additional drones really being made. Those 2 lings fall, but they create an opening here for the mutas in the main. Nice clutch repair going down on that turret. Those mutas taking some additional damage. 3 of them pretty bruised here. Yeah, JDConan, he's 3 more mutas coming in now. He is he's very committed here.
I don't think I've ever seen a turret placement like that in the main mineral line, but it was pretty perfect, and the mutas got almost no damage done. Gypsy still has 4 rack production. Okay, that was some good pickoffs onto the Marines, but he loses 2 mutas in the process. And unlike the other games that JDConan had a 3rd hatch, 3rd base to fall back on, no 3rd hatch, no 3rd base. He's got to do game-ending damage with these mutas, which is why you probably saw him build lings, because to draw attention away.
Sure.
But there's no opening. There's so many turrets, and with 4 racks production, there's just a million Marines.
And I mean, he's put himself in a position where he's now forced to take bad trades. He knows these are too many turrets. He knows there's too many Marines like in the main, but what are you gonna do? Are you gonna try to drone from here? Probably not.
So much damage being taken from mutas. 3 mutas died there for that 1 turret and a couple of SCVs. Now he's in a good spot. He's starting to rack up a lot of SCV kills, but there's isolated mutas, and they get picked off immediately. And now JDConan can't harass anymore because there's a huge swell of Marines.
Yep, big swell of Marines, and he's out on the map, which means, I mean, the potential for death here is, pretty likely. He's got to keep these Marines from marching across the map and attacking this natural that, I mean, on top of that, he can't afford to make any more sunkens. Instead, he's going to dive on the turrets in the main here. Gypsy saying, I don't care. I'm still going across this map. And, I mean, that's just the worst case scenario here.
Yeah, there's no sunkens. If there was, like, 3 sunkens there, maybe the mutas could have just committed and just tried to gotten into a base trade scenario. I don't think 3 sunkens would have held, but, like, let's just say there were. At least that would make sense. Maybe you're going for a base trade scenario, but now he didn't really get much damage done. Gypsy is out on the map with a fearsome army. He's got the starport's already done, so science facility going to be on the way. That's 1 colony. It's not even morphed into a sunken. Muta's trying to pick off the medics. If they can get the medics, all of a sudden the push is not scary anymore.
Yeah, JDConan, I mean, he does have that air armor kicking in. That's one thing that's kind of changed. You're starting to see these mutas act a little more robust in this mid-game skirmish, but we keep saying the eco damage is done, right? Like, JDConan's trying to build a drone here or there. Meanwhile, Gypsy just continuing to pump SCVs. He's just slowly building up that buffer lead.
Mutas have kept the ball back for now. Look how many mutas there are. They do have +1 weapon. A lot of them are pretty healthy. You gotta kill this army. This is an isolated army. This is as good of an opportunity as you're ever going to get. This army cannot sync up with the rest of them. If JDConan wants to even have a chance at winning this game, he's gotta kill that mid army. Okay, you can pick this off and then kill the mid army. That would be great.
Yeah, that was exactly what he needed to stay in this. 4 sunkens even at the natural here. Gypsy going to counter.
but there's mutas
this is
here.
scary.
There are mutas over the ledge.
Yeah, he's got a second group. Yeah.
Yeah, so JDConan, is he going to go for the Hail Mary? He's going to send everything? Is he going to channel his inner J-Dong, micro 2 groups of mutas at the same time? Looks like he's going to attempt it.
Yeah.
It's 16 mutas.
That's scary. Oh, looks like he's just going to make one control group and go with this for now.
There's not a lot of turrets at the natural anymore, or at the barracks anymore. So if he can kill the Marines, then maybe there's an opportunity. He just sits on the... Oh man, the bunker's fully loaded. And there's just so many turrets. Like wherever you go, there's turrets. I guess he finds the one opening here that there aren't any, but I don't think... Okay, well... Okay, there's only 4 mutas left.
Yeah, he's just completely surrounded here. He's not making it out.
Nope, he's stuck.
Yeah, it does get a
Go ahead.
few more Marines, but... Yeah.
Yeah, now he sees that there's Valkyries coming. He sees that there's a vessel, and he knows that it's over.
Yeah, we're seeing him shake his head a little bit. I think he realizes he's in a pretty tough spot here to come back from. Irradiate going down.
Oh, and he didn't spread. Oh, that's painful. Oh.
Yeah, did some big damage, and I mean, Gypsy's now fully marching across the map here. Good games, good luck. Gypsy once again taking the series 2-0 there. Making it out in second place in this group, man. Played phenomenally.
He played really well. Had opportunity to make it out in first place versus Mihu, but in the end, still makes it out. Feel bad for JDConan because he played well. Like, he crushed Crossy. He looked good in some of the games versus Gypsy, but when you lose 3 times in a row doing the same opener versus this guy, right? It's like, well, what can I do? You feel obligated to mix it up. The guy played standard and you did an all-in build. You're just playing from a deficit from the rest of the game. It would be different if he was the one that went like 3 hatch before pool. That would have been wild on retro, but you just can't do it versus the guy that's 8-raxing you, or at least can potentially 8-rax you.
Yeah, just that initial threat, that game 1, you know, from Gypsy, game 1, series 1, 8-racks, it's gonna live in your mind, you know, from then on. So, you know, he played very, very well. Of course, you know, I'm sure we're gonna see JDConan once again in future BSLs, but for today, it's going to be our 2 Terrans making it out. Mihu, obviously, in first place, and Mihai in second place. So, very well done, man.
Yeah, and this time around, instead of just having 1 Terran in the round of fate, we've got twice the chances to go the distance machine. We've got Gypsy and Mihu, 2 Terrans making it out. Of course, we've got other Terran players remaining. We've got Terror, got myself. After that, I can't remember. Are there other Terrans here? But either way.
Is Terror still in it? Oh, yeah. Did he?
Yeah, he's in my group.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, you're right. He is in your group. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, so a couple of them left, also in the same group. You're the last group up, right?
Yeah, the last group. And speaking of groups, this is our group coming up tomorrow.
Oh, my.
This is, when I saw this group get pulled, I was like, this is an unreal group. DeWalt, Oyachi, Xiao Shuai, and Boa. This is incredibly hard. I think with it being PvP, it also gives, you know, not that PvP is a coin flip matchup, but sometimes it can be, right? You can just get build order countered very easily. So I think there's a potential for everybody to get out, and I think there's also a potential that everybody just gets, you know, eliminated just off of straight build order counters.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, we've been saying it, but you know, Oya is also incredible PvP, which makes him such a threat there. Looks like this is Group C. We got Bonneth, Striker, Dragon, Misters. Man, another, I mean, ridiculous group, right? Anytime you got Big Bonneth in a group, it is definitely a group of death there. So, you know, and then we got Ziki, Terror, yourself, and John Hoon. Man, another group of death. Are you kidding me? Oh, boy. Definitely in my opinion, contender for best foreign Zerg and Ziki, as always. Yourself, John Hoon, I mean, always a threat. And Terror, obviously, previous BSL winner as well. So, man, big names.
Yeah, my group I think is going to be especially hard. You know, usually when I play BSL, I actually feel pretty confident in my groups. A lot of times because for whatever reason, Zero generally draws like not every race, but this time I have to practice for all 3 of them. And then on top of it, we've caught Ziki, who you think can win the whole tournament. You know Terra's already won the whole tournament. And John Hoon, he can also potentially win the whole tournament. So it's like 3 potential champions are in the group here. And they're all different races. So to say practice has been a nightmare is kind of an understatement.
I can't believe it, man. Yeah, anytime you have the threat of all 3 races, it's like, well, what can you even prepare for at that point, you know? Oh man. Well, yeah, those are going to be some incredible groups here for our round of 16. As always, we definitely want to thank all of our sponsors and our Patreon supporters here who support the BSL year after year and allow us to keep doing what we love to do here. So at the Bombastic General level, $100 a month, we have My Fleeting Dream. Thank you so much for your contributions month after month, sir. At the Colonel level, $50 a month, we have Striker, also a OBS in BSL and a competitor as well. So big supporter in the scene. Thank you very much. At the Major Plus Plus level, $30 a month, we have Tim, Cause, Tupocalypse, and Voltuna Bulai. Thank you so much. At the $20 a month level, we have Scheming Gypsy, Yu Jiang, Madinho, Stephen Robertson, Gordon Bradley, KJ Streaming Channel, Daniel Lopez, LML, and Nicholas Schuler. Thank you all so much for your contributions, and thank you to anyone and everyone that supports, big or small. It all goes a long way towards keeping the BSL alive. And as Dan always likes to harp on, if you're doing the $10 a month level, you're getting the replays, folks. So if you are a avid watcher and competitor, someone looking to take their play to that next level, give that $10 a month, get the replay pack, and get learning, man.
Indeed, and this is the best time to get top level replays from BSL, Seawall, and you can donate to also pros directly on Afrika. Like, this is the golden era. In my opinion, there's like 3 golden eras. There's, of course, before replays where everybody was innovating. There's the golden era of when people started doing, I guess you could say, like real builds, like like the Muta Micro, the 5 Raxes and stuff like that. And now we're in a new golden era where you have access to top tier players and they stream, which is crazy. So definitely consider becoming a Patreon supporter at that level. So you can play like Mihu, or you can play like Bonnet, or you can micro like the JDConan god that we saw today. But that's it, Machine. You got any final words before we're out of here?
It's just thanks for having me. It's been fun. Thanks y'all for tuning in week after week. Always big pleasure and privilege just to see the best of the best here in the foreign Starcraft Broodwar. I'd like to thank you, Dan, for commentating with me, and Zero for pressing the buttons behind the scenes and making this happen week after week.
Yep. So we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care, and I'm excited for Group B.